Hello there, friends, and welcome to Virtual Strangers, episode 128. I'm your host, Wes. With me, as always, my good friend Roots. Roots, the week is at hand, friend. VR week is here. The saviors of VR, Facebook, are set to take the stage and drain all our pocketbooks once more. Are you excited?
Bittersweet, man. I don't want to have my pocketbook drained. Although I am excited about there's so much stuff coming out. Like my mind is racing with all the possibilities for VR, everything that's coming. Did want to throw out a hello to Tactical Bear, one of the developers for Project Terminus. Was very surprised and happy to see that we're talking about his game today. Also said I am also happy to be talking about his game today. Super exciting.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, what are the thing? What, and we'll get into the game, during our featured stories, but specifically with this game. And by the way, hello, Tactical Bear. I saw Tactical Bear in chat. I did not know he was a developer. So thank you. Welcome to the show. One of the things, as you know, that we're always railing on about with regards to VR games in general, the one thing we always request co-op support. We want story-driven campaigns with co-op support. Roots, that's exactly what Project Terminus is, and it's survival horror to boot.
Oh
So
God.
bonus.
Got everything. It's got everything. We got another Buzz the Ambassador, the community assistant for Project Terminus. Also
Nice.
here, love. Yeah, that's one of the best things I think I love about the show. Doing this is not only our community and seeing everybody, but seeing developers come in here, especially something like that. Because one of our favorite things to do, Buzz, is we want to showcase good games. We want people to know about your game, and I don't know, man. Wes has a knack for seeing this stuff early, and that's why I love to be able to showcase stuff early. So I'm excited to find out about this game. And like you said, co-op is king, Wes. I love co-op.
Oh, well, I've been watching this one for a while. This one actually hit side quest back in the Oculus Quest 1 days, back in the early days of side quest. Project Terminus has been lingering for quite some time. They did have a free demo, which I tried back then and was impressed at the time with what was there. But I mean, that's been years ago at this point, and I have not revisited the game since. So very excited to see what the current version that is coming to the official Oculus store is going to look like. More on that in a little bit. Roots, with regards to Oculus Connect, as I like to call it, Facebook Connect, as it really is called. Um, who knows what's going to be called next year, by the way? But we'll talk about that in a minute. Uh, well, I was starting to lose faith. Facebook kind of has adopted this, iPhone model for VR, and they're bringing us hardware refreshes yearly now, like clockwork. And it's one of the things that people have been expecting to happen this year. And even though we don't really need a new headset, Oculus Quest 2 still has yet to reach its full potential. The prospect of a new headset has kind of gotten me and Eric and a lot of people like us excited about having a new toy. But in recent days, I got to admit, I've been kind of, skeptical about it because at this time last year, we had a full gamut of leaks. Bloomberg had already leaked the specs of the device. We had videos, like the setup videos and stuff. When you first set up the Quest 2, we had already watched all of those videos, and we haven't seen any of that yet. And it's literally just days away at this point. So I was beginning to get skeptical until about 3 minutes ago when we were talking, and I got a message from our friend Mr. Tasselhoff, Jason, and those videos have leaked through. So the setup
Oh,
videos, they're online now. So all
wow.
is well in the world. My credit card is ready, and I'll be interested to check out these leaks. I have not looked at them yet, so
Son of a
I'd be interested.
bitch.
Anybody?
Why couldn't that have
Yeah,
happened an hour ago? We could have slid it right in, right?
well,
I
that's
guess
what
we
I'm
kind
doing
of
it
are.
right now.
Yeah, that's right. You know who
And,
else
and
likes to have it slid right in?
My mom!
Oh, yeah.
Uh, you took it right out of my mouth, man. And you know who hates it when you take it out of their mouth?
My mom!
Oh man, she's getting dirty today.
Anyway, I'm excited to see what the specs are. I did see a comment in the chat a moment ago saying that maybe it was kind of targeted at productivity,
Hmm.
which I mean, obviously, you know, if it's a Quest Pro, then that's kind of the implication, right? I'm okay for a product to be targeted for product productivity if I can repurpose those productivity features for gaming. Then I will still get it, provided it's affordable,
Hmm.
which is another big drawback typically with professional equipment. Is it tends to cost a little bit more. Um, are you at all in the market for a new headset right now?
It depends. I've thought about it. See, this is the thing. If what you're saying is true, as long as it is reasonable, because I'm not willing to just shell out, and we won't even know until we know the specs that were just leaked, I guess, or I guess in general, whether it's reasonable or not. The cost might reflect the changes, might not. Um, you know, but it is good in a sense, either way for me, because I'll make my decision. I think I can finagle things that I have, that if I make the decision that it's worth getting, I can buy it, and it's so not worth people. It's not like the Quest 1 and the Quest 2, where Quest 2 was announced and Quest 1's went, the value. If you wanted to resell it, you really literally had to resell it first, to get your, like you did, to get your value worth out of it. I believe that the Pro is going to be so similar and maybe a little bit more money, not worth the upgrade for most people, that they won't be a huge drop in price, right? I should be able to get the same price today as I would after the announcement. That's my guess anyway. So that frees up for me decision making. I might buy it on that day. I might not. I'll definitely be watching. Um, so,
So, Buzz the Ambassador in the chat says, "Hey, would you and Roots like to get early access
oh,
for Terminus?"
oh, hell yeah.
Yes, and
Cool.
thank you for saving me from having to type the email that I was already going to send you guys. Absolutely, we would love to have early access to Project Terminus, and I'd be remiss if I didn't throw out there that I'm quite sure that our other co-host
Yes.
Eric would like to have access as well. And you're in luck because it just so happens that Eric is the founder of the Oculus Quest 2 community group on Facebook, which is well over 100,000 strong at this point and growing like wildfire. So I mean, that guy knows a thing or two about marketing Quest stuff. So you guys might even already be in, have some kind of thing going on with them. They kind of have their own operation that works alongside us. We collaborate, but I don't know everything that they're into, and they don't know everything that we're into. But absolutely, we would love to check out Terminus early. I am a horror game buff; it's my favorite genre. So when you have me at story-driven horror game, the co-op thing's just kind of a bonus. And absolutely, we've been streaming horror games all month long. So the kind of perfect timing, everything coming together as it always seems to do around here, Roots.
Yeah, speaking of streaming horror games, I'm still having a little PTSD from last night. Me and Mash were talking about it, man. That game is so cool in so many ways, and I really hope the developers can kind of tweak some of the things that are wrong with it, because there were moments that I was like, dude, this is really, really badass. And then the next
Yeah,
moment I had all sorts of weirdness going on, and I was like, okay, I don't know how much longer I can do this. But it was kind of it's gonna go good with some of our conversation later, with what we're talking about, which is kind of cool. So,
for sure, for sure. So what Roots is referring to is we decided, as we told you all we would, in to forego free stuff and killer deals this week in favor of streaming some gameplay, which we did last night. We played a little bit of Survive on Viveport, and a lot of cool stuff in that game. Like I loved how big the maps were and how populated they were. I mean, that was not an easy game. The freaking tutorial was hard in it, and a lot of cool mechanics that we really haven't seen in other games. I love how you had to breach some doorways using a drill. through the lock. I thought that was awesome. I love the way that you couldn't just like zero caliber style pick up any attachment and put on your gun, but you had to learn that skill through finding gun magazines hidden in the map. I thought that was really cool. Um, and a lot of the like the backpack system and stuff was really cool too. I like the little tablet menu interface. Uh, it was just a little rough around the edges, and when you have a game that's difficult, highly populated with enemies, and some of the UI stuff isn't perfect, it creates high tension situations and it creates frustration when you die.
Yeah.
And dying's frustrating enough. To have it, accelerated by UI jank doesn't
Mm.
really help the situation.
My favorite was when somebody dies, the whole game crashes and you got to go back in, and that was cool.
Right.
But see, that the thing is like Wolveraza said he summed it up. It ran good on his computer. It didn't like multiplayer, and tutorial was good. Weird lag, which is weird. Weird lag is exactly it. 'Cause sometimes it ran great, sometimes it was weird. And I will caveat this. The first thing it tells you when you're loading up is multiplayer is experimental. So it is what it is. I'm just hoping that they're using this to fine tune it, because that game, if they can get rid of all the weirdness, is phenomenal. Like, I really like everything about it. They just need to iron out some of the kinks, and I think they're good to go.
Well, I want to go back in, and I was talking to Eric about this earlier in another show's chat. There was enough there for me to like see, because we didn't play it for very long. We played about an hour, a little longer than an hour. Um, I'd like to see if maybe we could get used to it a little bit more and maybe have a better experience, because there was so much that I liked about it. Unfortunately for that game, we're in friggin' VR promised land times where there's so many good games out right now, and I think that kind of had a lot to do with you know uh, magnifying the frustration with the little bit of jank we had, was because there's so many like amazing releases out right now. Next to those, it really makes any kind of imperfection stand out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Mash Daddy joining us on his way to Disney. I think he's probably joining us from a hotel, maybe, or he's at the airport or something. But Mash, we appreciate you, and we just got access to Project Terminus. So we're just talking to Mash Daddy's the other Eric from the other host on our show, and he is enjoying some well-deserved vacation time.
Yeah, and for those of you, in the chat who are new, the format here is the Sunday flagship podcast is a news related podcast. We're going to talk about new game announcements. We're going to talk about we get into a little bit of hardware stuff at the top of the show. Uh, it's all about what hit the VR gaming news sites over the last week. Uh, Wednesdays are our kind of game review, game impressions discussions, and those are the episodes that Eric joins us on, or on the Wednesday episodes normally. Sometimes it comes on Sunday as well. But yeah, so again, for those of you who are new, we do multiple pieces of content every week. We do news on Sunday. We do a live stream, or I do a live stream on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday late at night, uh, we do a game review, game impressions podcast. And then Saturday's wild card time. Typically, we do free stuff and killer deals, but every now and then we're going to be doing something different. More information on that to come probably over the next week.
It's funny, Wes. We're explaining, or you're explaining all this stuff to the newbies, right? People that may have just stumbled onto the show, and in the back of mind, I'm thinking, all of you veterans, all you strangers in the night, you day strangers have been around for a while. You're gonna have to get used to some tweaking pretty soon here too. You're gonna be thinking, man, I don't even know what's going on, in a good way, and that's what's so exciting, right?
Exciting times. VR week in more ways than one. And speaking of which, we have a full list of headlines to get to. So why don't we kick off the episode the way we always do by saying hello to our friends in the chat. Matthew Lake is in the house. Say no, there are a few videos for the new headset. Yeah, that we were talking about that just a moment ago. I got them in a direct message from our friend Tasselhoff. I think Onakazi's asking where they're at. I think they're on Reddit. Onakazi, you might check there. Paradise Decay says, for your information, this week's free Epic game, Among the Sleep, works perfect in Vortex because it originally had VR support. Also, next week's free game, Dark, he already has the profile for that one too. So yeah, I watched your video, PD, on Among the Sleep. Excellent video as always. He was talking on that video, Roots, like that game felt native.
Really?
Using Vortex, yeah.
Oh, wow, that's
It looked
crazy.
native too. Like it looked like I was watching a VR game, and it looked pretty cool.
Yeah, well, I definitely need to check it out. It's been a while since I've been in Vorpax, and it's getting better and better every day for sure.
Mr. Tasselhoff says that he's going to post the leaked headset videos on our Discord. You will find the invitation in the description down below. Onakazi says thanks. No problem, bro. Eye on the Icon joining us says great Quest horror game is Lies Beneath. Played it through last week. Yeah, love Lies Beneath. Probably the best horror title on the Quest. Although we kind of had it a three-way tie when Mash and I ranked them. We had Lies Beneath, we had Blair Witch, and Wraith Oblivion, kind of three-way tie for the number one spot. Hack the Game Cat, what's up, Hack? Welcome. New firewall season coming. This is one of the headlines I didn't put in here because we really don't have a lot of info on it yet. But they're going to drop a new season of Firewall this week too. That's pretty cool. Boy Brown joining us. What's up, friend? I've been seeing him around a lot in this week's various different content pieces on Resident Evil 4, which is one of the games we're going to be covering this Wednesday. Just I'm sure that people would like our very early impressions on Resident Evil 4, and so far so good, right?
Yeah. Oh God, dude. So far so good. Even just the menu blew me away. How well done it was. I mean, it just shows you, Capcom. In my opinion, they went in to make a really good VR game. The only thing that I could say so far, and like you said, I'm early on, that I have issues with are game issues. That's just the way the game was back in the day. The AI, when you're hitting them, it's the way the game is. You can't change that, or you could, I guess, but then now you're doing something completely different than remastering and bringing it into VR. So I'm impressed so far. I can't wait to get back in there.
Wolveraza says, I want RE4. I know I'm going to have issues, but I still want to play it. And yeah, to be clear, there are issues with it. Again, tune in on Wednesday, and we'll break all that down for you. But I very much concur. Having a blast in that game, and I'll again be happy to break down why in just a few days' time. Be sure to hit the bell and the button if you haven't already. Doom Sly 82 is in the chat. He says it's great. It is. It really is great. Matthew Lake in the house. VR Demon. Yes, sirree. Bob, what's up? My loveless marriage with the $5 support and fist bump. Roots. He's throwing us a fist bump. So thanks, bro.
I want to fist bump a falcon.
Well, I mean, you could do that through the magic of VR.
That's true.
Tactical Bear. We already said hello. Hello, welcome. See, Mepper's in the house. What's up, Mepper? Let's see, VR Demon, Buzz the Ambassador, we said hello to. Decepticon's up there. Yee! What's up, Decepticon? All right, well, I think that for the there's Alex VR. What's up, Alex? Thanks for stopping in, saying hello. Daniel Kaz in the house, Berber Cat's up there, and of course, Spry Guy at the very top. A cast of dozens, Roots, waiting to see what happened this week in the world of VR. So why don't we kick it off with some headlines? Facebook, we just spoke about. Facebook to create 10,000 European jobs to build its metaverse. So we have Facebook who have very much shifted the narrative over the last 6 weeks or so toward this creation of the metaverse, and we kind of already know that that's going to be the focus of the keynote this Thursday as they take the stage. Um, they've been spending the last month or so trying to convince everyone that they're going to be a team player and they're not going to try to build the metaverse and control it all by themselves. Obviously, that's impossible, but still a bit shocking to hear words like that coming from Facebook, who has such a walled garden approach to everything. Anyway, no sooner do they say that they're going to share and play nice with everyone, do they literally hire legions of people to build it to build it for all of us. So you know we often talk about the advancement of VR AR technology as something the quickening, as we like to call it. It's something that progresses faster. The more it progresses, the faster it progresses. It's exponential, and it seems to be at breakneck speeds over the last couple of months, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's funny. It's the double speak from Facebook. Who would have thought, right? As they're telling you that don't worry. We realize it's going to be, it's for everybody. It's going to be different wings, you know, because in my opinion, they've realized they can't do it. That was their intention at first, is we're going to create the metaverse. Then they realized with everything else is there's no way to do it. It's the horizons just hasn't been doing the best, and you're gonna have to include everybody, right? But they're gonna have their own wing, and they're gonna make sure their wing is the best wing. You may never even go to everybody else's metaverse version, right? Because theirs will be so good. At least that's their plan. But like I said, they've realized they can't control it, and so they've got ahead of it with a spin that says, "Hey, we realize it's not for everybody, or it's not only for us," um, and then that way they can kind of save face. So,
Well, what it's going to allow them to do, and I'm sure this is what they're going to try to do, is they're going to try to build the framework. Like they're going to try to lay the foundation. They're going to obviously build upon that foundation and kind of try to set the example of how they would like for it to work. And obviously, they're going to, as they always do, they're going to lay out a bunch of support for potential partners who want to join and build it their way, right? Which obviously is going to accelerate things greatly as it has with VR, and yeah, uh, the next few years are going to be a very interesting pivotal time for the technology and where it goes in the future. Whether or not anyone is able to kind of establish themselves as viable competition um, remains to be seen. But it's exciting times regardless, even if it does end up being what it has been for the past year, and that's pretty much we're living in Facebook's world.
yeah, yeah. We don't have to like it, but we can still enjoy it, right?
Absolutely. But who knows how much longer we can even call it that headline: Facebook to rebrand metaverse focused company name. So Facebook, which is synonymous with their social media platform, has decided that the name is not broad enough to represent their full scope of their company anymore. Facebook, the social media product, now only just a wing of what they're trying to do as a company. So I imagine Thursday, as Zuck takes the stage, and spells out what he expects the next few years to look like. One of the things that is going to be included in that is a new name for their company. And as jarring as that may seem to a lot of you, it's not unheard of. We've seen stuff like this before from Google. Like Google isn't the name of the parent company anymore. They changed their name because they said that they were so much more than a search engine. So I think they're like American something or another is the parent company for Google, which it all used to just be Google. And we've seen it. I could give other examples. So this isn't it isn't a new thing. It's I don't know how much of an impact it really has on things remains to be seen. But it's interesting. It's just another thing that kind of points to the fact that we're coming into a new era for our technology, and that, if nothing else, is exciting.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Wolveraz has got a good point. There's a lot of other reasons they want to rebrand as well. And I read something. It was an interesting comment. I think it was on somebody's Twitter, or I don't even know where I saw it, but they were saying it was ironic that when Facebook bought Oculus, they thought it was going to swallow Oculus, and it turned out Oculus swallowed Facebook.
Right.
Facebook ended up as a wing of Oculus, and there's I just want my VR. I don't want all the weirdness around Facebook to seep into it. That was my only problem with the Quest. To needing to sign up with your account, just keep them separate. That's my thing. Just let me play my games. Don't make it weird. It's kind of like those people that have the signs on their and I see it everywhere on their front step. It says, no, we don't want religion. We don't want all these different things for solicitors, right? No soliciting. Don't make it weird. Well, don't make it weird, please, Facebook. Just let us play VR and get out of our life, other outside of VR.
Yeah, good luck with that one. Driven by, and yes, sir, Bob coming through in the chat to keep us on point here. Alphabet is the Google parent company, which is actually was Google. Now it's Alphabet.
FBI,
So thanks, guys.
CIA, yeah, Alphabet.
Yeah, absolutely, Alphabet. That's a good call. Anyway, a relatively what was going to be a relatively slow week for Facebook news just got turned on its head. I really would like to know what new information we have on this headset. I'm excited for it, Roots, and I can't wait now to get to the end of the show so I can read up on this thing.
Let me pique your interest a little bit more. If you didn't see, Paradise Decay says up above that he can confirm the rumors are true. Whatever you're about to go read after the show is what the truth is.
Oh yeah, obviously this is a intentional leak. Like, you know, stuff like that doesn't just randomly get found during the week of the announcement. This is obviously marketing 101. They're very effective at it. They did it last year. They're doing it again this year. Makes me confident that we're probably going to get at least a pre-order this week, right? Otherwise, what's the point of leaking this stuff?
Every once in a while, and I'm talking once in a while, because people are pretty savvy as reading through the bullshit anymore. It seems you get a troll that'll say, "This is the perfect time for me to put this information out there," and people run with it, and then it turns out it's nothing what they were said. But I agree. I think what you're saying and what PD said, since he says that he knows it's true as well, means it's happening, and I agree. There's no reason for it to come out if it is true, which it is, unless it is going to be announced to pre-orders this week. Do you think there's a possibility that you could get it, order it and get it like shipped that day?
Well, I mean, it's possible. I mean, I wouldn't consider it likely, but I could. I mean, it certainly is possible that it could go live if they've been manufacturing these things for a while and have some stock built up. Absolutely.
Ooh, PD
Like
says
time is of the essence. Every day that they wait is one more day they're risking Valve or Sony or somebody coming and raining on their parade here. The whole reason I believe that they're even coming with this headset so soon is because of the Sony announcement and what we know is coming from Valve. Like they're trying to head that stuff off at the pass. They've got to get a headset out there with eye tracking because it's about to be a standard feature for headsets uh, over the next year. So
very true, very true. PD says the leak has broke all embargoes, so expect a lot of info to come out. So that is
excellent,
very
excellent.
interesting.
Mr. Tassoff says just play the videos. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of we have a strict regiment here. I mean, if you want to try to do something like that, Roots, we could, but
I
we got
can.
a full thing as it is.
I'll while we're talking about something, or maybe during one of the little things we've got planned, I'll look up and see if I can find off of Tasselhoff's leaks, as long as they're there, Jason, and I'll download them real quick, and we can, if we have time, we can switch to them somewhere in the
Sure,
end.
sure. Well, with that said, let's check out the next headline. Vario Aero VR headset has been announced with the price, the specs, the release date. Roots, this is being marketed as a next level headset in terms of visuals. Period. That's it. It's next level visuals, next level clarity, next level colors, next level blacks for the type of panel it has in it, and
Next level
next level
price.
price
Yeah.
for a consumer, what most people consider to be a consumer headset. Most people are calling it a consumer headset. $2,000 for this headset, Roots. No base stations, no controllers, no audio solution.
Wow.
Just a headset with super crisp, super clear visuals. Um, Two-part question. One, do things like this interest you at that kind of a price point? Which I already know the answer to that question. And second of all, like, do you think you'll ever buy another headset that's just PCVR and that's all it can do?
It seems very odd. I mean, I guess, it'd be the same thing marketed towards people that have all these elaborate rigs, right? They've got thousands of dollars to spend. They've just got when it comes to what their income, they just have a lot more expendable money to just throw around. And so, yeah, what's wrong? And a $2,000 headset's really not that much different from a $1,200 index, with the exception of you don't get audio, which is weird to me. No audio solution at all. That's bizarre, but I guess you can find, it's probably a jack for it. But I and the only good thing, the biggest good thing about this is if you have a lot of money and you want a really good headset, here it is, and you're probably not going to have a hard time getting it. Everybody else is
Yeah,
scrambling to get all these headsets that are in mass. People want it. They really want those headsets, and they're priced affordable, so everybody's buying them. Not everybody has $2,000 to drop on a headset. So
yeah, I think that this is very much a product that is targeting those people, those high-end enthusiasts who really don't have any kind of money concerns in their life. The people that are willing to throw down thousands of dollars, people who got 3090s on launch and probably already have the 3080 Ti to go with it. Those people, they are out there, and as long as the manufacturer uh, doesn't want to move volume and it just wants to cater to that crowd, I'm sure there's going to be a limited size market for it. My whole thing with it is, as someone who does have to worry about money, as someone who has multiple headsets that already do PCVR, uh, like obviously the value proposition isn't there for me, especially when you consider that I already have an HP Reverb G2, which this obviously does have more resolution than that, but mine is $600 versus $2,000. This is kind of the same conversation we had about Rift S versus Valve Index.
hmm.
Like, yeah, Valve Index in terms of resolution is more, but is it that much more to justify that kind of price difference? Because again, really all this headset has is the visuals. That's what they're selling. They're selling you on the best visuals today. Um,
It's got a pretty
but
good
is it all that?
FOV, right? Too.
A little more. It's got a little more. It's nothing to write home about. It's got about 100 degrees field of view, real life application. So about a 10 to 15-degree increase over what we're used to right now. It's not as big as the Valve Index to field of view. Um, so yeah, I mean, uh, it's a noticeable improvement over any other VR headset in terms of visuals, but that's it. Like, there's no audio solution, there's no controllers and base stations, which if you don't already have, you'll have to pick up, uh, you know, uh, in order to use it. And let's be honest, like this is sub 3K per eye. We've already got 2K per eye headsets. Like, that's what my G2 is, a 2K per eye headset. That's what it's what the Sony headset's going to be. Let's be honest, a year from now, like these kind of specs aren't going to be uncommon. Like, this isn't like a huge step up. It's a noticeable step up. It's not a gigantic step up. It certainly, in my opinion, doesn't justify the price difference. I think that headsets like this are going to be common a year from now.
Yeah. Well, and this is another problem we have here, Wes. Like you said, it doesn't come with the base stations. And if you don't already own the base stations, I wouldn't run out and buy this headset if you have the money. Because I mean, I guess if you have the money to buy a $2,000 headset, you could probably find them somewhere. You're gonna pay more because they don't exist right now through Valve. They're sold out, and I don't know how back ordered they are. They've got the Index 2 supposedly coming out soon. My thought is if they're releasing the Index 2, they probably will prioritize the base stations for that headset, right? So, like, you may have a headset you can't get a base station set of base stations for, but if you already own it and you already own the Index controllers, but this is there. Now you're adding all sorts of shit and $4,000 rigs and computers, and I mean, this is the reality as well. If you didn't buy the 3090, say you've got a 2080 like me, now you got to upgrade your video card because I guarantee you're with those specs, you're gonna. I mean, it's just a lot of money. It's a lot of money, and not to mention the slap in the face to the people that looked into buying this a year ago and they told people, look, you're not elite enough. We're not selling these to you scumbag consumers. And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, you got one day. Somebody in the Discord got an email and it was literally like, hey, we're selling this. I think it was person. We're selling this to people. You got one day to decide. And like it's a weird thing to do, right? To put pressure on people like that. It's just weird.
Yeah, I saw that in the Discord, and I wanted to say it's a 3-year-old headset. Don't buy a 3-year-old headset. But I don't know what the specs are for Star VR1, so I didn't want to say anything definitive. But my gut instinct was something like that: is don't buy old tech now when all of these headsets are coming. The wave of new hardware, true Gen 2 hardware is coming. And I kind of feel like even this Vario headset uh, is still kind of that last gen tech. Like it doesn't have. I mean, it's got the eye tracking, sure, and it's got motorized IPD adjustment. But I mean, what is that really? That's just it's like having power windows in a car. It's like it's nice, but I can do this. It's fine. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, the thing is too, it's kind of like with the Index controllers, right? We can do a lot of other things with our controllers or with our middle finger. So
Simplex, our friend joining us from Poland, says the price is too damn high. If it was $1,000, I'd get it in a heartbeat. Well, exactly. I mean, how much are you willing to pay for, having the best headset for 6 months? I mean, again, though, there's going to be a market for it, and it's people who have more money than they have stuff. So those guys will be the ones buying this. I guarantee you, people are going to buy it.
yeah,
There are people out there who are going to order it. Um,
and they'll have. I
so
mean, arguably, they'll have the best visuals for a while, right? I
for
mean,
a little while,
yeah.
yeah, for a little while they will. Um, Paradise Decay says all this VR news has to be seeping into the general public's view now. Yeah, well, I mean, we have more public eyes on us than ever before. Thanks to the Oculus Quest 2, thanks to games like Resident Evil 4, people are taking notice. Another thing I did to gauge whether or not we might be getting a new headset this week, I remember the last couple of headset launches for Facebook, the stock kind of dried up right before uh, Connect. And I was at Walmart this morning. I decided to go check out the Oculus Quest 2 display, which has been in stock for a good long while now. Like they're selling them. You can tell that they're selling them and restocking them, but it's been a while since they've been completely out. That today they were completely out.
Ooh.
So uh, that's a good sign if you're like me and you're hoping to get new hardware this week.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I saw the same thing at Best Buy yesterday when I picked up my coffee maker. Um, they have this thing where it's all behind the counter, and they had them stacked for months. You could just see them. There's everywhere. Now they're down to, maybe 50 or something. So Best Buy still has it here, but I guarantee I mean, who knows, dude? This is the thing. Maybe, this is a completely different model, right? Maybe they're gonna dry these out and start selling I don't know, man. Who knows what Facebook is gonna, or whatever they're gonna be called, is gonna do this.
We're gonna know. We're gonna know soon. Drimbot says he's gonna stick to his Quest 2, it's important for me to put that out there. Just because there's going to be a new headset doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to buy it. They do have to offer me something substantially more than what I already have, and they've got to do it at an affordable price. So time will only tell if that's going to be the case.
Yep.
Anyway, but I mean, so many. It's headset week. Like we've got Pimax event that's coming tomorrow. We've got Valve, who could literally anytime drop news on their new headset. Of course, we all know about the Sony. What we weren't expecting, headline: HP Reverb G2 upgrades, add better tracking and a new face gasket. So at first glance, you read the story and you might think that they're coming out with a new HP Reverb G2 already, a year after launching the other one. No, this is just going to be like another version of the original one. They're not calling it anything else. It's going to just still be HP Reverb G2. They've just tweaked a few things on it, which has added about 30% vertical, 30% more vertical tracking area than you had before, and other quality of life upgrades, such as you know it's going to have that new cable on it, which mitigates those connection issues that some people were having, and then a new face gasket. The article mentions here. It's just a new iteration on it, which is better than the first. And a lot of people giving them criticism for this. Obviously, people like me uh, would like to have it, but this isn't anything new. This is just PSVR did the same thing. Like PlayStation VR, the first one had some limitations with regards to 4K pass through and some other stuff. So they put out a new revision of it, right? That was just called PlayStation VR 2. The old ones disappeared, the new ones rolled out, and were better in a few different ways. Uh, any mass produced product goes through these different iterations. Consoles do this. Like
Slim
it's not
Pro.
it's not yeah, it's nothing new. We'll just say that. Um, so I think this is a good move. I'm not particularly upset as a G2 owner. I'm still happy with my G2. Seeing this better version doesn't make me hate mine anymore. Like a lot of people, they love their stuff until they see the better one and then they hate their stuff. I still like my G2. It's still my go-to when I play PCVR, and will continue to be so. Um, Maybe until I get this new Oculus headset. Who knows?
Yeah. Um, Wolveraza says it's BS. They should be refunding or letting you trade yours in, West. I agree and I disagree at the same time. I agree on the cable. The cable is an issue that is something that's preventing some AMD cards from working, I guess, is from what I read in the article. There's some issues with that, and so this is going to fix that. So I get it. Obviously you want to make money, but they're going to sell this cable. So if like Wes had an AMD or switched over, he could get that new cable and he could get it to work with it. But I think as somebody that bought the thing, that was a flaw in the cable that they didn't, you know what I mean? They're fixing a problem and they're charging people for it, which kind of sucks. I mean, it's not going to affect many people. It's not everybody. But everything else, what I thought was weird when I was reading the article, it said something about, when it got into all the stuff that you were naming at the end about the hardware stuff, it said, it specifically specified this, and in the hardware related stuff, kind of like some of the tracking and stuff is firmware or software related. And then I started to think, if that's the case, then why is that not going to be for the
Yeah,
first iteration, right? At least from the
I,
wording of
I'm
the
not.
article.
I'm not sure how much of that's going. I mean, obviously they're going to have to tweak the software, because what they've basically done here is better camera placement on the headset itself.
Right.
And by moving the cameras, you have to tweak the algorithms that make it work.
Yeah, that's not gonna.
So
Yeah, true.
maybe that's what you're looking at there. Um, I can understand, people's frustration, who got one and uh, now are seeing the new one come out that's better than theirs for the same price. Um, but with that said, it's been a year. Like, that time is worth something. First of all, this is something that early adopters, often have to deal with. And I mean, I wouldn't expect them to have any kind of refund program or swapping program. That would be the first time in history anybody's ever done a thing like that. Like, I don't feel like they owe me anything just because they improve their product. Like,
What if you could
I knew.
prove that you had an AMD thing and that it was a conflict? If somehow you could prove to them through through a couple hoops that, hey, I bought your headset. This is the motherboard I have, or this is what I'm using, this processor, and it doesn't work with it, and then they could send me a cable to make mine work with that hardware versus selling it. I don't know. That's my only
Yeah, I don't.
problem
I
with
don't.
it.
I don't think the cable is the big hang up for people. Like people were getting those cables just by calling the tech support and saying that they have connection issues. Like maybe they're changed their policy on it, but a month ago, anybody who was calling up was getting one of those cables. I just never made the call. Um,
Yeah, you didn't need one,
people's issue is people want that tracking area, man. That's the thing. Like
right?
the only real sticking point with this headset uh, for some people was that the tracking was subpar compared to something like an Oculus Quest. I contend that the differences are not that big. Um, and people can call BS on me all they want, but I can only think of two instances in my year of playing with this thing that the tracking was ever really an issue where I had to switch to a different headset because the tracking was affecting the gameplay. So
Yeah, but there's those instances, just like you said with that other game, the Survive game. If we play it enough and we get used to it, we'll overlook the shortcomings and we'll still have a good time. And I'm assuming that some of that, and I'm not saying, I think your experience with the Reverb G2 or most people's is probably like 80% perfect. It's like really good. It only has those case by case, but you might find yourself holding your controllers in a weird way because if you lower them a little bit, it's going to be occluded, right? So I think there will be benefits to having this new model, but I don't think it's
oh
going to
yeah,
make or break
yeah, I'm
anybody's
not saying that.
experience. But no, I know
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm just adding that as I think there is a reason for it, maybe HP in general has learned finally. I kind of was shocked when the first Windows Mixed Reality came out and the tracking was subpar, and then they released another one and it was subpar, and then they released the G2 and it was subpar. Like at some point they need to figure out, Oculus is, even though it's not as good as the base stations, it's pretty damn fucking good. And I'm not saying HP's isn't, but it's weird that it's taken them 3 or 4 iterations to hopefully this one will be really good. 30%, that's a lot. That may cover everything, right?
Well, we need to recognize a couple of things. One, who has done inside out tracking like Oculus? Nobody. Like they're the one that got it
True.
so good. Second of all, the jump from Gen 1 WMR to HP Reverb G2, from all indications, is a huge jump in tracking quality. Like this is not old WMR tracking. I mean, they doubled the number of cameras. I mean, it's a big move up. So the fact that they're still improving upon that is a surprise to me. Honestly, this again, this isn't Oculus with their tens of thousands of people working on VR every day. Like this is HP who does so many other different things. So the fact that it's as good as it is kind of surprising to me. But I mean, again, I don't want to get off on a side point here. My whole point was I don't feel like they owe me anything for improving their product. It's not like they're charging people anymore for it, and I could always sell mine and go buy that one if
Sure.
I want. I don't feel like they owe me because they made their thing better. Like, does anybody still think it's going to be as good as Oculus Quest 2? I doubt it. Like, it's probably still not going to be as good. So, what happens, a year from now when they improve it even a little bit more? Do they owe people then because they made it better? No. I mean, it's not like it's defective. If it was like if we were talking about a Vive Cosmos that's just horrible tracking and now all of a sudden they fix it, but not, people who originally bought it have to work with broken tracking, that's one thing. But that's not what this is. Like it works very well. I mean, it works again. Uh, I've only had a couple of games that I've even noticed any kind of problem with it. Um, Now, with that said, I play seated most of the time. Obviously, people who were up and move around a lot more would probably notice it more often than I do. But again, I'm happy with it. It's still my go-to. I've got multiple quests here that I can use, and if I wanted to buy another headset, I could. So that should say a lot about it there. That the fact that I keep going back to it and using my whole problems that I had with it were the early crashing issues, which have they're all gone now. Like it just runs, it just works now, which is cool.
Is there any part of you that's tempted to sell this one off before it comes out and then just buy it? Because if it's going to be the same price,
Well, look, that was kind of what I was alluding to at the top of the conversation. I don't know. I mean, if I ever buy a headset again that's just PCVR, I mean, the game is going to have to change in a major way. Like, I'm not in the market for another PCVR headset. I have headsets that play PCVR right now, and I'm happy with them. So, I mean, it would have to take something like maybe that new Valve headset that's giving you the ability to play standalone PCVR as well as tethered to a computer. But I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think PCVR is dying like a lot of people are. But I mean, in the near term future, over the next couple of years, PCVR is going to be the home for mods and indie games. It's all going to be about Quest. It's all going to be about PlayStation VR over the next couple of years. I really don't see myself throwing any money down to get any more PC VR stuff. Like I often question if I'll ever build another gaming computer again. Like, why am I spending thousands of dollars on you know on a VR platform that is going to be the one that has the least amount of new AAA games on it? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would I spend the most on the one I'm probably going to be playing the least? It doesn't make sense. I've got a powerful computer right now. I've got a 2K per eye PCVR native headset, as well as a couple that can tether wirelessly. I just don't see myself investing anymore in PCVR, at least for a few years.
yeah, I don't blame you. You know, it's definitely not getting any cheaper. And this is my prediction. I think people are moving away from owning their own computers. They're kind of shifting us away from it. It's going to be Shadow. It's going to be another service, and it'll be outpriced, just like everything else. And this will be the way you play your PCVR is through their service. So
Let me be clear about one other thing too. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Valve comes out tomorrow and announces their new headset, announces a brand new game. I hope they revolutionize the PC VR market. Nothing would make me happier than to have it be a thriving gaming uh, marketplace that's on the par with the other what the other markets are going to be doing over the next couple of years. I just don't expect that. Like I think that Valve will come out with cool hardware, and they probably will do a game to support that. But I mean, it's a game, right? It's one. We're not going to have Oculus, putting out Asgard's Wrath and Stormland and Wilson's Heart and all the games that they came out with over that 3 year period. Those days are over with, at least for the time being. Now, I do think that they will return, but I think that that's a little ways off from now. And I think that I've invested enough money in that platform. Like
yeah,
I could buy like two more PlayStation 5s and two more PS5 VR headsets when they come out and still have not spent the amount of money that I've put into PCVR. PCVR has been over half of my expenditure in the VR all time, and I don't use it, half the time like I use the other platforms more. So it's a lot of money for a little bit of return. I'm not saying that I regret it. I absolutely don't. There are things that are must own on PC, and plus I do this, so there's that aspect of it. Doing this podcast really makes having all this stuff worth it. But again, it's going to take something. They're going to have to sell me on throwing down any more money in the PCVR over the next, say, 2 years.
yeah. Well, I guess that we'll see. You might not need to. There's so much good stuff coming out console wise, right? So
Right. Yeah. Um, Speaking of which, headline: Virtual desktop PCVR streaming adds a new sharpening feature. So, this is interesting, Roots. We recently had Oculus update. I think it was 33 or 34, which added a sharpening feature for Link. So now when you connect to your computer, it's super sharp. It is a very noticeable difference. Not to be outdone, Gigodin comes out with a new update using a completely different tech. This is not the same thing Oculus did. This is completely different. This is using a feature of AMD's Fidelity FX software, which don't panic out there, people. You don't have to have AMD hardware to use it. Uh, as is the case with most of AMD's software solutions, it works on all hardware. Um, but this is interesting what this does, Roots. It basically uses some kind of AI algorithm to determine which areas of the picture are the least sharp, and it focuses on those areas only so as to avoid over sharpening and creating artifacts. According to Gigo Den, this makes a profound difference
Ooh,
with regards to compression artifacts. So if you're someone who notices a lot of compression when you use virtual desktop to tether to your PC, this supposedly is going to take care of that. It's a big update. I'm surprised more people aren't talking about it,
yeah.
and it just again shows what a magician this guy is.
Yeah, just is exactly why I said, was it 6 months ago now? I don't know how long it's been, that I wasn't worried about what he's doing when Airlink came out. That was a big discussion, right? Is this going to kill virtual desktop? And we've seen virtual desktop dead, quote unquote, several times. And then Guy comes out and says, I'm not dead, bro. Like, he just keeps adding features that are amazing. Like this one, I don't even know. Should be standard for every platform, right? I mean, can you imagine? It's like it's making sure that the entire thing is sharpened, and it's resource wise. I can't imagine it's not it's that much using that much resources, right? Because it's only sharpening what isn't being sharpened. So I think that's really cool.
Well, there's a slider. Those of you who have an up-to-date version of virtual desktop, there should be a slider in there now. And let me say, this must be very, very recent because when we played Eye of the Temple last week, I used virtual
Mm.
desktop and I didn't see this slider, and it updated right before I went into the game. So
Oh wow.
this must be a brand new update. Anyway, there's a slider in there that you can set. Obviously, the higher you set the slider, the more resources it's going to take. He suggests that people start on 75%. That's kind of the sweet spot, according to him. But he says that some people do prefer doing less than that. So set it to your own taste.
Absolutely. Mash Daddy throwing 5 spots, says Guy Godin equals legend. I would have to agree. Guy is amazing,
Absolutely.
and he's just pushing. If people can agree or disagree, I agree with this statement. If it wasn't for Guy, we may or may not have Airlink. I think he pushed Oculus. He came out with such an amazing thing. Oculus said, "Fuck, we need to make something that works for us as well." They may have had a plan, which they probably did, but he definitely expedited, everything. So having that yin to the yang, Facebook is good, and Guy is an amazing yin to the Facebook yang for sure.
Absolutely. And that guy is he's doing God's work. So
Yep.
shout out to him if he ever sees this.
Yeah, absolutely. Love to get you on the
Anyway,
show, Guy. Come on our show, bro. We want to talk to you.
I have just a spot for him, Roots. Now that you mentioned that,
Yeah,
I think you know what I'm talking
I
about,
do.
and everyone else will know soon. Anyway, um, how about we get away from all of this, utility and hardware talk and get into what we do best? Talk a little bit of games headlines. Uh, No Man's Sky Emergence Expedition arrives. Roots. These guys have got to get a hobby, man. They put out so many updates for this game. It's like it's a completely different game than what it was 6 months ago at this point.
It's crazy.
They I don't even know what all the details of this freaking thing is. I quit reading these updates about 3 updates ago. Like, I think that there's like sandworms in this one. People keep talking about Dune, I think, with
Hmm.
this, like the Dune movie that just came out. But man, it's crazy, um, just how well Hello Games uh, support this title. I was thinking this morning, Roots. We kind of rename our awards at the end of the year. We always rename the awards, even though that it's for the same thing. I was thinking that maybe we should rename the award for best support of a VR game to the Hello Games Award or the No
For
Man's Sky
real.
Award, just because nobody supports their game like these guys. I mean, it's crazy.
It's funny because they went from a cliche when they first came out to being, what are you going to do with your No Man's Sky return refund? To a cliche of just how much is in this game. Like it was a no brainer a year ago to buy. Now it's a no brainer with that DLSS that they added last month or 2 months ago. For me, that was the switch. It was so sharp, so clear. The content is so much. You could buy one game all year long and play it, and No Man's Sky would be the game to do. And PSVR without parole throwing out there says Wes plus Roots equals Legends, throwing a 4.99 spot out there. We appreciate you guys. You guys are the original OG Legends. We're just like the rookies.
Absolutely, absolutely. Inspiration coming from Brian Paul, and we appreciate the support, Brian. We appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah,
Thanks, man. Cool.
yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, let me ask you something, Roots. Like we often talk about, I'm not even going to ask you the question I always ask you whenever there's a new No Man's Sky because I already know the answer. What I want to ask you is, you know, obviously we haven't played a lot of No Man's Sky, and to be honest, I've bought this game 3 times since it got VR support. I bought it for PC. I bought 2 physical copies for PlayStation so that I could do multiplayer in house. But I've barely played any of it, and it's because my time is limited. I don't have a lot of time to sink into a VR game, and this game commands it. So normally I ask you, is this update Roots going to be enough to get you to finally jump into No Man's Sky and give it the time it deserves? But I'm starting to notice now, and really when I think about it, I think these updates might actually have the opposite effect, Roots,
Mm.
because if it was already this big, intimidating experience that we don't have time to fully appreciate, wouldn't that just be even more the case with every update?
Yeah, and I've said this actually. That was I've said that a few times in the past. Is almost too much. There's so much to it. The same thing that draws everybody else in, and they're like, "Fuck yeah, man! I got so much content for months, years." And Wes and I are looking at it, kind of like I'm looking at New World these days, and like this time sink. It's like, oh my god, the amount of time it's going to take for me to get in there, and not only get in there in this game, get acclimated, figure out what's going on. That's going to take a couple hours, and then really start your adventure. um it's crazy, but I think that the key would what we would need to do to really get into this game would say, okay, it's Saturday, me, you, and Masher are going to go in there, and we're just going to go on an adventure to stream it for the either the patrons or for everybody, for that matter, probably everybody if it's on Saturday. uh I think it'd be fun. It definitely would be, but I agree. I think that it is very daunting. It's almost too much for the us content creators that are already limited on how much time we have to get into these games for sure.
But you know how I am with exploration, man. If I start playing this game and I put the kind of time into it, even just to be competent in a multiplayer session, it's going to hook me, and I'm going to be lost forever in this freaking
Mm.
game. Like I won't stop. It's endless exploration, literally endless exploration in this game. And on PC, there's those mods that minimize the HUD, make it more of a immersive experience. Man, I could get lost in this game for a year. I don't want to do that. like, and you know what? I think it's about time they say enough is enough with this game, and like it's done, guys. It's done. Give us a new game. Like Let make another game. How about that? Start working on the next one. Um, I think that their initial bad reviews were just so bad that they're in this kind of endless loop of proving themselves. And
Yeah.
someone needs to pat them on the shoulder, give them a hug, and say that it's okay. We were wrong. You guys were right. This is an amazing idea for a game, and you've proven it 3 times over by this time.
I think you're right. I think somebody needs to do it. And Mash has a good point. He says, I'm in for No Man's Sky. It deserves the attention. And so maybe we're the ones that need to send it into its, hurrah. We'll go in there, we give it its attention, and then we say, okay, now you got your attention. Stop clinging to me, you clingy bastard, and make the next game.
Okay. I agree. In January, we'll do that.
Yes.
In January, we'll do that. Like, there's too much right now, man. Like, I can't get back to Eye of the Temple, and I can't put Resident Evil 4 down. You expect me to go into No Man's Sky? It ain't happening. But in January, when we have that little 4 to 6 week lull that we always have right before
The show.
things pick up for PlayStation VR, um, we'll have a little gap there where we can really put some time into the same game. I say we do it then.
I'll tell you what, man. I even though we're now pushing it a couple months away, I'm kind of excited because it is it looked so good, Wes, with that DLSS, and it performed so perfect, so sharp, so clear, so amazing. Now maybe I go into it and I do No Man's Sky next time through virtual desktop with its, I don't know, man. I mean, how good can I get this thing to look? It already looked amazing and ran amazing. No shimmer whatsoever. And if anybody that a year ago played it, that's saying a lot. And so, yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Go into it with your virtual desktop. Use some of that split rendering tech that recently got added in the virtual desktop. Who knows, man?
Yeah.
It could be impressive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, as always, hats off to Hello Games. They continue to make what is already kind of a game that's in a league of its own, even more so. So these guys, amazing developers, and I guess they deserve to be commended for it.
Absolutely.
Headline: Affected the Manor Complete Edition revamps the horror experience for Halloween. So, this is an update that's coming, and this is a significant update for those playing on PlayStation VR, as PlayStation VR has yet to get the Gauntlet DLC or the Darkness DLC. This complete edition is going to bring both of those over to PlayStation VR, but also for all platforms, there's going to be various quality of life updates, some graphical stuff being tweaked, and this is going to be, again, the complete edition, aptly named. Kind of perfect timing for this one, right? Because I mean, it's a virtual haunted house is literally what it is. It's a bit of a walking sim, but it's very well done, and despite of its age, it continues to hold value at this time of year. It's a great demo to put people in. Pretty much anyone can play this. As long as somebody that knows how to work a thumbstick, they can get through this thing. And there's some legitimate scares in here. It's something that I enjoyed even before the updates. So glad to see them finally putting the bow on this one, and excited to see what the next one's going to be. We know that they're still working on the other affected titles. This is supposed to be a trilogy. So now that they're putting the stamp on this one, that we may at sometime in the next year finally get the second installment of affected, which I think is cool.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to the next one. How cool is it that, like you said, timing wise, obviously it's Halloween. So anybody that's never played this, you're going to get to play the best version of it that exists once it's, got this revamp. And for people like us that have already played it, it's who knows what the revamp means, right? There might be new jump scares, new stuff that we go in there and we see. I don't know exactly what the revamp means, but it gives us another reason to go into it fresh right now in Halloween time, right? So that's cool.
Well, I haven't played the Darkness update yet, which gives you a new path to walk down, and the only lighting in the entire thing is from the candle that you're holding. So that in its own self is enough to draw me back in this Halloween season.
You gonna do it on a Tuesday, or you can stream it for the virtual strangers? Now that we got new content, man, it might be something worth checking out, right?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Like, well, we've got a week left in October, and I've still got a pretty substantial list I'd like to hit.
Your knee,
So I'm
perfect,
not gonna get.
perfect excuse to
Uh,
call out to work, bro, and then you could stream all week, dude, and get paid for it.
Absolutely. But one of the things I'm considering doing on one of my few remaining live streams is kind of a collection of shorter experiences. And I think this might fit well into that. So, like, we
Yeah,
do this, we do Caliban Below, we do the Bad Dreams demo that just hit Steam. I mean, there's a bunch of different shorter experiences that we could bundle together in a stream. So certainly a possibility that we do that before the end of the month.
yeah. People need more Lethal Weasel.
Gamertag VR joining the chat. What's up, GT? Thanks for stopping by. He says, you guys chatting about HPG2. I shared that news thinking it was a firmware thing, but it's the hardware, kind of killing the OG G2 and confirming the issues. Yeah, it's new camera placement. They basically just tweaked the way the cameras sit inside the housing there, and bingo boingo boingo, just a little bit more tracking area.
Mm.
And I don't think necessarily that improvement confirms an issue. I mean, it's just improvement. It's better. It's better than it was. Now, obviously, one man's issue is another man's, not an issue. So obviously, it's an issue for some people. Obviously, it was an issue for you. You sent yours back, but it still remains my go-to PCVR headset. So, again, um, improvement's good. So I think at the end of the day, it just I think they should be commended for it. I mean, they're not charging anymore. They're not calling it something new. They're just revising their design.
Just
So
making a better
kudos
version,
to
which
them.
is always good, right? Gamer Tag says you all need more Lethal Weasel up inside you, and I say, you know who else needs more Lethal Weasel up inside her?
My mom!
Oh yeah, she does.
This is what I used to tell the ladies when I was a young man. Surprising how well it worked. Too.
It works, I'm sure.
Anyway, PD getting in on the my mom train. Um, Headline: Demeo finally gets some mid-game saves in the new update. So, a much requested feature from the community here. It takes a while to get through a game of Demeo, and oftentimes that's what keeps me from choosing this when
Yeah,
playing with friends. Is that I know I'm not going to see the end of the game. I don't have time. So, uh, fortunately, now this is no longer an issue, as we can start a game, decide to put it on hold for a little while and come back to it later. Now, I don't know. Um, I assume this is stored locally on the host's
yes.
the host hardware, which is cool. Which means you can put it on hold for a year if you want to, as long as you don't erase the save file. Then you'll always be able to come back to it. Um, this is a good update. This is something that was much needed, and but it's not all. I mean, there were other patch notes here. I think there's a new card, a new kind of lamp. There's a few tweaks to the game on a material level as well, not just all function. So a great game gets even better and makes itself, in my opinion, more accessible on a day-to-day standpoint. And I'm going to go turn my air conditioner on, Roots. I'll just let you say a little bit about what you think about this update.
Sure. Yeah. Well, first off, Boy Brown says, are the saves only at the end of the level? And they absolutely are. So I guess once you go in and you go to the store after the first one or second one or third one, it saves it at that point. You're allowed to have 3 saves, I believe, per account. I thought there was something else that said 3 on there. I don't have the article in front of me. I think it's definitely well needed. And what's kind of cool is the cards. The couple of the cards that they brought in were really cool. Like one of them, I guess, it puts that light that you were talking about, Wes. It puts a light in a room and it draws all the enemies into that light to damage them. So I thought that was kind of cool. And there was some other card that was put in there. Plus
It's like a bug lamp.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You got a bug lamp for monsters. But what was the coolest thing is they they didn't iron out exactly all the bug issues, because there was, after the second, or that they released the update, the new Rat King or whatever, there was some issues that suddenly popped up. The biggest one being line of sight. Like, you'd have shit just hitting you out of nowhere, things that aren't even supposed to be able to hit you because of where they were at, and supposedly that stuff has been fixed out as well. There were some issues that that was my main reason I haven't been back to it. Besides the wanting a save, was there was some in that first game that we played in the Rat King was just ridiculous. Some of the shit that was happening, that it made it almost impossible for us to play it. So I am kind of psyched to get back in there and check out the changes for sure.
Absolutely, as am I, and the game one step closer to its perfect version.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it again. I've said it from day one. Spectator mode. All
Oh
this
yeah.
game needs now, other than maybe a little bit, some more like story DLC or game, uh, new decks. We'll call it. It could use a couple more new decks, even if it's paid DLC. They should expand their level set, enemy set. But beyond that, I want a spectator mode for this. This game is in a casual setting. It's meant to replicate the experience of standing around a table with your friends and playing a card based RPG game. And anytime you've ever done that in real life, there's always more people standing around the table than the ones playing. And I feel like they need to bring that into this experience. Allow me to invite friends in for 20, 30 minutes to sit and talk to us while we play and watch. I wouldn't imagine that would be very difficult to do from a technical standpoint, and would add a lot of value to the title, in my opinion, and in my use case.
Yeah, absolutely. Because then you could have more groups of friends hanging out. Maybe 8 people hanging out, and you're rotating people who get to play in between games or whatever. I don't know. Definitely a good idea, and hopefully they hear this and implement it. That'd be cool.
Yeah, you wouldn't even have to give them an avatar, just to let them turn on voice chat and move around the space. Having their own locomotion controls to, you know, change their viewpoint or whatever. But you wouldn't have to give them an avatar. They could be just kind of a voice in the room, if you will. Um,
You could even
but
make
knowing
it
these,
simplistic, right? And make it node. They have like 6 nodes they can hang out and watch from. The biggest thing I wouldn't want is one of those fucking people watching, the bastards, getting in my way so I can't see what's going on. Because you're not
right.
even in the game, bro. Like, you just stay off to the side. You're a spectator. Spectate. Don't get in my way. Everything's good. I won't get pissed. So
Boy Brown says Demeo is a great game with so much potential to be expanded over the years. I agree. I agree
absolutely.
that they've kind of hit the jackpot with this one. I see this game being around for many years to come, with many DLCs and free updates such as this one to improve the user experience.
Yep. Absolutely.
Headline: Blade and Sorcery Dungeons Update 10. Trailer reveals release date. So we reported on this a while back that Blade and Sorcery was finally going to give you something to do other than combat sandbox, which is what this game has needed for years. So, myself and a lot of people like me immediately um, excited about the potential for this game now, because now there's actually going to be objectives and levels, and we kind of speculated that this is probably going to be something that happens way down the road. But I'm happy to say it does not appear to be the case. We got a trailer this week, which shows off the levels update. Roots, why don't we take a look at that trailer right now? So there you have it. Blade and Sorcery Levels Update live now. This update dropped yesterday. Um, I like it, man. I like it. You know, we've often avoided playing this game because I don't really don't have anything for sandbox games, to be quite honest. They could have the coolest gameplay mechanics in the world, but if it's a sandbox, it's a tech demo in my mind. And something like this taps into a whole new part of what makes VR so special. We've talked about it before. What makes playing VR games special is even the bad ones. You know, if the gameplay isn't that fun, you still get something out of going into these worlds and exploring them and looking around. It's not just a game, it's a place that you get to visit. And now, Blade and Sorcery, I think, is taking the first huge step uh, from being a tech demo into becoming a game. Roots, I think this looks cool. And actually, for the first time ever, I kind of want to go play Blade and Sorcery now.
Yeah, it's giving us a reason, like you were saying while we were watching it. It gives us a reason to get in there and check it out, right? You know, because it's not 2016, and swinging a sword around isn't enough anymore. You know, the best physics in the game, or one of the best. I don't know if maybe Alex was better, or Saints and Sinners. It's been so long since I've been in this game. But it was absolutely a tech demo, an amazing tech demo. It's one of the things that people like craved. They wanted the I guess I credit all those YouTube videos of all those cool deaths, the slow mo, the stabbing the guy in the eye, became a sensation, right? Really got this game out there. And but it was a little bit shallow one out, you know, but now there's an actual some depth to it. Now I will add, in the article, it says, you know, this is like a step, right? They're working out the you know, I guess the looting system to where you can progress with different stuff. So don't expect to go in there and have a full-fledged Carnage Chronicles experience, right? But I will add that Carnage Chronicles took several years to be amazing like it is. I do have faith in this game, and it is exciting to see it change and give people a reason to pick it up.
Yeah, this looks cool, and I just hope that they continue down this path that they've started on because, as we recently reported, they are looking to bring this game to Oculus Quest. And as you know, that is no small task. It is something that's going to take some time and resources from their team, which could otherwise be used to really leaning into this levels update. Now, with that said, no one could blame them if that's the route they
Yeah.
decide to take because you know, we all got to eat, and that's that's the advantage of bringing your game to Oculus Quest. You get to eat ham sandwiches instead of bologna. So
Now, who doesn't love fried bologna? I used to make, like, cut it up and fry it in the microwave when I was a kid. PD says, you know who else likes to get a good stab in the eye?
My mom!
Oh yeah, she does.
indeed, she does. So yeah, man. I just said words that I never thought I'd say. I'm interested in playing Blade and Sorcery. So well done, developers.
Yep.
Nice trailer. I'm sure that January, Roots, January. We'll go in January and check out Blade and Sorcery.
Yeah. All I have to say for the developers is,
You did it!
you did it. We're excited.
You did it. Well done.
Well done.
Speaking of well done, Real VR Fishing update delayed, now coming November 6th. So, you know, a highly anticipated update, at least on my part. This is a huge update for this game. It's going to make it into the game I always wanted it to be. So, you know, disappointed that it didn't drop when it was supposed to, sure. But we're talking about 2 to 3 weeks delay here. Not a big change. They just wanted a little more time to polish it. So I say good on them. We'd rather wait for the update than wait for a patch. So, you know, this is one of two major updates coming this year, Roots. This one overhauling how the game plays and works and looks. And then after this, we're going to get a big uh, update pack with a bunch of new environments and stuff in it too. Real world environments, of
Yeah.
course.
See, that's the thing.
This,
Oh, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say this game's getting ready to go to the next level in a major way. So you know, they can take an extra 20 days if they want to.
Yeah, absolutely. That's my thought too. Is I don't think anybody's sitting here waiting on their pins and needles to get into there for the new update, because the game is already amazing. And they're like you said, this isn't going to be even past what they've announced. I don't think that'll be the end of this game. They just keep upgrading and making it better and better. And so I am excited to see what it's going to be like when it finally gets done on the 20th. You said December 20th, right?
No, November 6th.
Oh, November 6th. Okay, that's right. I don't know why I got the 20th. But yeah, so November 6th. So we don't have that long to wait. And I, the game was already amazing, and they've got so many cool locations coming. So definitely a must-own game if you like fishing, in my opinion.
Well, Raza says it's pretty damn real looking. It is, man. They use photogrammetry to set these environments, and it looks real. And even though like the original maps were all like taken from like I think Korea, it looks like Kentucky, man. It looks like Kentucky,
Yeah.
with the exception of just a couple of limited couple of maps. Most of it looks like environments that I would typically go fishing in.
That's what's
So
beautiful about the Earth, man. Is like the only differences are in us. You know what I mean?
right.
Like everything's so similar that if you go over to Russia, Korea, Japan, China, wherever, you're gonna find yourself looking at nature that looks very similar to your own backyard, because it is. So.
Except for those bees, man. Those Africanized bees, they're pretty aggressive out here.
Yeah, there's a lot.
But they don't have to deal with murder hornets.
Oh, that's true. That's true. We got those coming. So yeah, exciting.
For sure. Headline: Budget cuts to Mission Insolvency getting a new game mode update on the 28th of this month. No idea what this is, Roots. It looks like maybe some kind of hide and seek type thing for Halloween, kind of a spooky little hide and seek game. But that's just pure speculation on my part. But in looking at footage for it, I don't know what it is. But the fact that this is getting anything at all at this point, I think, is pretty amazing, right? This is a good game. Any new bonus content for this at this point this game came out a while back now. So this is cool. Out of nowhere, we get more playable content for budget cuts too.
Yeah, it's free. I always think of this, Wes. Whenever I think of some things, I in my mind they'll be time stamped by like, oh, well, Alex was here when we talked about this, or whatever, certain people, and I'm like, dude, that's a long time. I think he was here, but that tells me it's been a while. And so, like you said, the fact that they're still adding to it, hopefully it's not something kind of generic, but I think it'll be a reason to go and check it out anyway, right? It's Halloween time.
Absolutely. Will Russ says, "Whoa, I haven't heard about this in a while. I still need to get nice what game?
Budget cuts too. I think I'm assuming that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's talking to somebody else in the. Oh, okay. It's two different statements.
Oh,
so
I
like,
gotcha.
he says he hasn't heard about this in a while. He still needs to get it. I agree. This is a good game. You should play it, especially if you like stealth games, stealth adventure games. This is a good one. He's talking to Eevee Man versus Gas, who's in the chat. Hello, Eevee Man. Hello, Diz, by the way, who joined us a few minutes ago. He says, "Hi guys, I lost track of time. I was playing VR for about 7 hours straight." To which Wolveraza replies, "Nice. What game?"
Yeah, what game? Yeah. Diz said he didn't like No Man's Sky. Earlier.
Resident Evil. I guarantee it's Resident Evil 4. Guarantee it.
I thought it was Oshiwash. I heard he's got a real foot fetish going for VR.
Taco Face. Could be Taco Face.
Yeah, it could be Taco Face. Yeah, there's some good quality Viveport Infinity titles that we talked about in the past. Suck your time.
Anyway, Budget Cuts 2, a great game already. Cool that they're still supporting it, honestly. I'd like to see it come to PlayStation VR at some point. Hopefully they're working on that. But yeah, cool update. Look forward to checking it out.
Yep.
One more headline to get to before we get into the week's featured stories. And week after week after week, especially over the last month, we have been. He said actually it was Real Fishing VR what he was playing.
Oh wow, I could see that happening too. That's fishing, man. You lose track in time fishing, right?
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, week after week after week, we've been highlighting these stories and all evidence of the quickened pace. Kind of the race for VR has begun. All of these different companies jumping in the hat, funding flying left and right for any kind of VR startup, getting millions of dollars to develop its technology. Truly a magical time. The second race for VR has officially begun, and everybody's getting in, everybody except Xbox. Xbox still won't adopt VR as Phil Spencer applauds Sony, Oculus, and Valve's work. Interesting article here, Roots. Nothing new unless you dig a little bit deeper here. Um, Xbox, they're still saying the same things that they've always said. What's different here is how they're saying it. Typically, they've been kind of aggressive, almost insulting toward VR. They're taking a more conciliatory tone here, like they're genuinely impressed with the work that everyone else has done in the space, uh, although they still are going to resign themselves to admiring it from a distance. Now, that's kind of the scope of the article. That's kind of the analysis of VR Focus, who brought us this article. But I noticed something a little bit different that they didn't mention in the article, and I just want to read to you here some of the quotes from Phil Spencer, and I want to see if anybody else picks up on what I'm picking up on here. And let me just a moment scroll down to what I'm talking about. All right. Spencer recently spoke during Wall Street Journal's tech event, which is behind a paywall. And when asked about VR, he responded by saying, I think that when we think about immersion, we think about mixed reality, virtual reality. I'll even take it to the metaverse, which seems to be the buzzword of the day now. We're big believers in that software platform and the devices that will enable it. Absolutely. But we're focused a lot more on the software side of that right now. When I think about immersive worlds and I think about the connection of a player and a community, that's something that's very high on our investment list. And he goes on to say, I think that the hardware innovation that's happening is great and it's an important enabler. But right now, I'm deciding to stay more on the software side of that enablement. I believe it will scale better in the long run. And I applaud what Sony's doing. I applaud what Oculus is doing. And I have applaud what Valve has done. I mean, there's a lot of good players out there that have done some amazing VR work. So that's the entirety of the quote in this article from Phil Spencer. Did you notice anything a bit different about what he's saying here compared to what some of the quotes we've heard from him in the past?
Absolutely. I mean, for one, like you said at the beginning, the fact that he's not throwing it under the bus and he's complimenting the other people in the room for VR, the other companies. But he's what I read into it, which was it was in there, is it was, and then you kind of see it because you've seen it in the past and we've discussed it, and we're like, oh shit, they're buying this company and they put out a really good game. What was that one third person one that was so amazing that they just picked up? We were thinking they might not put yeah.
Sinuous
So
sacrifice.
we were thinking, oh shit, hopefully they don't nix the VR version. Well, what I'm reading in this is that's absolutely not going to happen. They're saying, look, we're not focusing on the hardware. Let Sony do that. Let Oculus do that. We're going to focus on the software. We're going to make VR games or VR experiences or whatever. I mean, and he said it in 2 or 3 different ways in that quote. I got excited. I thought, okay, well, this everything, all the pieces fell into place for me. It was like, oh shit, like this is exactly why they've been offstandish about the hardware, but we've seen them aggressively buying studios that have been that are putting out VR content, and it didn't make sense. But now, to me, it does.
You nailed it, man. That's exactly what I was driving at here. I can't recall ever hearing Phil Spencer supposedly say, and obviously it's not just me reading into it because you saw it too. It seemed like 3 times there he said he was going to focus on making VR software.
Yeah.
Like I've never heard him say that before. Up until this point, I've been deathly afraid that we aren't going to get the VR mode for the Hellblade sequel. I was afraid that we might not see any more Bethesda VR games, and they picked up Bethesda. Um, and now here we have Phil Spencer saying it time and time again, we're focusing on immersive software. And even to the point of saying that these other guys are doing great work making hardware, which enables us to make the software. Uh, I'm excited about this, man. I think that this is, you know, circumstantial evidence, we'll call it, that we're going to see some of these Xbox titles when they come to the PC version have VR support, and that's huge for me because, as you know, Hellblade VR is one of my favorite VR games. I really want, I really want this sequel to support VR, and for the first time, I feel like since Microsoft picked up Ninja Theory, uh, I think that there's a possibility that that could actually happen.
Absolutely. And it's good news in a couple other ways too. You know, it could be good news for PC VR, because people, you know, we just talked about some Microsoft headsets, right? Microsoft is in the business with their own headsets in a separate thing. The only thing that this is Xbox, right? This is Xbox that isn't going to get it. And it also could, you know, at some point we could see they, no matter how offstandish they are, we could see their own headset plug into their console at some point and bring them right into the game. Um, and that wouldn't be outside of you know, the case for anything. It's just they're focusing on the software, is what I read, which is amazing because they make real, you know, the studios they picked up make amazing games. And
Right, and I think that it's we should point out that in effect, what an Xbox is just a slightly modified x86 PC. It's
yep.
like they could start supporting VR headsets that's not even their own overnight. Like they don't have to manufacture hardware to
Mm,
support VR on Xbox. Now, I do think that they're going to get in the game at some point. I do think that it's probably still a 50-50 chance that we see it during this console generation.
mm,
But with that said, I also think that Xbox is going to look to shorten the console generation probably by half. I think we'll see a new iteration of Xbox probably within 3 years. So um, who knows whether it'll be this one or the next one. I could care less. I mean, as long
mm.
as their games are going to be going to support VR, then I'm happy. I could care less if their console. Like I have a gaming PC. It'd kind of be nice to get some more return on that investment, not have to go buy another console. So
Yeah. How smart would it be if they did down the road, as an answer to Sony to some extent, allow their console to use every headset out there? And so, you know, not that Sony would, people that had the PlayStation 5 VR are gonna care because they're so amazing. Their headset's gonna be so amazing. But you know, it'd be so versatile, right? And like you said, it could be done overnight, if it's what they decided to do. So
right, right, and I think at some point we'll see that because I fully expect PlayStation 5 VR to be a huge success and, be another level for VR the way that Oculus Quest 2 has over the last year. I think that, the Sony VR is going to take it even to the next level because of the software support for it. Like they're going to bring some big IPs into VR. It's going to get people's attention and people are going to want it. And Oculus Quest is going to continue to grow. I'm sure what Valve does is going to make waves as well. And then we have Apple VR, which is going to kind of make VR this luxury thing that people want. So it's all coming together at the same time, and I feel like, as is usually the case, Microsoft is going to be late to the party. They're going to get dragging, kicking, and screaming. Um, but again, I really, if as long as they're making the games, I could care less if they do or they don't.
yeah. Onikazi says that's Anthony level stuff, and to some extent, there's a lot of projection out there. I think it's a very probable stuff, though, of good chance of happening. But who knows? Future's the future, and a lot of things are in play. But it is interesting, either way, and we'll find out for sure pretty soon here, what's happening with that software, right? So.
For sure. Yep. Anyway, that's going to wrap up headlines for the week and get us into the week's featured stories. The first story this week coming to us from Upload VR. After the Fall is this month's Upload Access title on Upload VR. And this past week, they published an interview with Vertigo Games community manager Tamtu Boy. I assume that's how you pronounce that. If it's not, my apologies, sir. If you're watching this, um, I'm not good with words. uh, to talk about what to expect from the upcoming co op shooter. Early on in the interview, Tom 2 cites Arizona Sunshine as inspiration for the game, specifically Arizona Sunshine's Horde mode, which supports up to 4-player co op. The team also played a lot of other zombie shooters, many of which were non VR, in an effort to see what works versus what doesn't work with regard to the genre. When asked about the campaign mode, Tam2 described it as sort of an onboarding process for the larger game, stating that its main purpose is just to teach the player the core mechanics of the game. He also mentions that each mission, which are about 20 minutes long on average, can be revisited with modifiers, which allows players to more quickly progress their characters, weapons, uh, more quickly progress their characters and weapons for use in the game's non-campaign modes. He also mentions that revisiting the missions is something that players will do frequently, and enemy spawns will vary on each run in an attempt to keep it fresh. Um, as someone who prefers a story driven campaign, I must admit I find this focus on replayability a little concerning, although I'm happy to hear that future story DLC is already in production, which means that the launch version of the game is only going to be the beginning of what we get here with this one. Tamp2 estimates that the onboarding process will take the average player about 4 to 5 hours to complete. With multiplayer being such a huge focus of the game, the studio has developed a hub area for players to meet and interact. This hub area will include players from all platforms: Oculus Quest, Oculus Rift, Steam VR, PlayStation VR, all players meeting up in the same area to customize their weapons and plan out runs into the game's various areas. Uh, After the Fall, due to launch later this year, again on Oculus Quest 2, PSVR, and PCVR headsets, and Oculus Quest 1 version will follow later on in 2022. Roots, mixed emotions here. Like, I've been so excited for this game for so long. Uh, I think that it's has the potential to be a late contender for Game of the Year, and then we come out and hear all this PR speak right before it launches about replayability. We have an estimated 4 to 5 hour campaign here, which can be played single player or co-op. Um, but how many times have we heard this before? 4 to 5 hours only to get in and find a 2 to 3 hour campaign. Like, this is an estimation from the studio. That doesn't mean that there's actually 4 to 5 hours here. Um, are you concerned at all about the story mode maybe not having as much substance as we wanted it to have?
Yeah, it definitely sounds like they're tampering expectations, right? And maybe they're just being wise and trying to make sure that, everybody doesn't have such a high expectation they go into it and look at it in a negative way. That's what this is the one I was telling you about, like just playing the game we played last night, playing Back for Blood with Mash and Techno Glitch recently, which is another flat game, the fourth version of Left 4 Dead, right? I also have had some experience in similar type of games, and I don't want the Survive version, and I want the Back for Blood version. Back for Blood is so fucking amazing the way it's done, that my expectations because of that flat game are made this game. What I want out of this game is that I don't know that I'll get that, but I think it's still going to be similar. It's definitely going to be hands down better than Arizona Sunshine, from what I see in the videos and here. And Arizona Sunshine was amazing. So I do think that maybe they were looking at our podcast and they were looking at West time for After the Fall 4 to 5 hours, but in Roots time it might be 3 to 4 because I might go right through and I'm not exploring as much. I don't know. Hopefully not.
Well, I'm hopeful that their estimation is accurate. If it's a 4 to 5 hour campaign, kind of my bare minimum. That's what I want. But 5 hours is good enough for me. Like, I really enjoyed Arizona Sunshine. I returned to it a lot. Um, and that was about 5 hours, if I'm not mistaken, right? About 5 hours to play through Arizona Sunshine.
Yeah, and everything that I said about Survive that was amazing, I guarantee is going to be in this game, and there's not going to be the jank. You know what I mean? So I guarantee I'm going to love it. Just from what I experienced last night in the Jank Fest, I loved that game. I didn't like some of the what I experienced, but I'm excited to see what this is going to be like. Just the fact that you see a horde of about 40 or 50 things coming at you, that's going to be very intimidating, even if you have 4 of you standing there. So that's gonna be super cool.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the bottom line here. This game has been in development forever, and it's obviously going to be polished uh, to a degree that's uncommon in VR. Like, this is going to be, it's going to seem like a legit AAA game. I think this is going to seem like a AAA VR game uh, in terms of quality and polish. And it makes me think back to Fract.
That's what I was just
Uh,
thinking.
and while and while Fract is a different kind of game, it's a game that they were claiming to be 4 to 5 hours campaign, which turned out to be 2 to 3 hours. It took me about 3.5 to play through it. Um, and while at the end of the day I was disappointed, only because I wanted more of it. It was so good, I wanted more. Um, the way we typically dealt with that in our review when we were giving suggestions how they could have added more content to it was through various game modes and through multiplayer. And we already know that After the Fall already has all that. Like, in fact, from the sounds of this interview, that the campaign is just kind of a small piece of the big picture here. Like, they expect this to be a multiplayer game. The way that it seems to be structured, Roots, is there's a multiplayer progression going on here with your weapons, with your characters, and the way that you're going to progress is by revisiting story missions.
Hmm.
So you're going on kind of like these supply run type deals, like you would in a Walking Dead game, back into the areas of the game that you played through with the story content. Only the enemies are going to be different. The placement of the enemies are going to be different, and and according to this developer, the um, the difficulty mode that you set is going to impact your experience greatly, and it's going to be a kind of this feedback uh, loop of risk reward. You go in
Hmm.
on a higher difficulty where you might not succeed, but if you do succeed, you're going to be rewarded with some, with some awesome weapon or some awesome ability that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise.
Hmm.
So I'm still hopeful. I'm still hopeful for this game. I've just, a few red flags go up when you hear this kind of speak because you know it could go either way. We've heard this kind of stuff before, and we've had it go both
Hmm.
ways. So you know, cautiously optimistic about this one going forward. Still think it could be game of the year, but for the first time in a long time, there's any doubt in my mind about it. So I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. I don't think we're going to have to wait very long, by the way.
No, no, I don't think so either. Smart doubt, but I don't, obviously, or a little bit of doubt, but my thing, the good news for everybody that's watching this now is it is Vertigo Games, and we know what to expect with Arizona Sunshine, and we know that they've stepped up their game from that game. So I'm more optimistic than, um, you know what I mean? Like if it was an unknown developer or somebody that didn't have such a good reputation in my mind, I'd be a little bit more worried than I am optimistic. But like you said, we don't have that long to wait. So
Yeah, I think I'm going to own this on multiple platforms, Roots. I think that with it being a cross-platform game that we can all play together, I think that it's going to benefit me to own this on every platform, like PC, Quest,
Yeah, with your family,
and it
right?
has and it has aim controller support roots.
Oh,
Like this is going to support aim on PlayStation, so
oh my God.
like there's that, you know. I
Wolveraza
think
says he noticed the silencer was heating up. That you'll. It looks like apparently you might be able to overheat your weapons, which that's pretty
there's a
cool.
lot of focus on there's a lot of focus on the weapons in this game. In fact, I think that's the main feedback reward loop in this game is through customization of the weapons. The developer gave an example of turning on a higher difficulty to go into a map so that you can gain the attachment to change the fire mode of a gun. So if you
Oh,
got a gun that is almost perfect, but you don't like the way it fires, turn the difficulty up, go back in, play through some of these maps, and you may be able to gain the attachment to change that gun up and make it perfect for you, which only allows you to become more powerful and progress even further on higher difficulties. So
oh,
it's kind of this loop that you get into. Uh, that is something that exists outside of the story mode that gives this game a lot of replayability, especially with friends.
yeah. Talk about smart. Talk about an amazing way to get replayability and get you interested in going back in there. Because you're going to start on the normal level and you might not be able to play the nightmare level to get, you're going to have to play through that normal several times to get upgrade to get to the nightmare or whatever it is. That's really cool.
Yeah. So I think we're going to know soon. I think that this game's coming within the next month or so. There are clues that indicate this. I'm not just trying to be Westradamus here. Uh, the fact that this is an upload access game is a pretty big clue. Actually, typically games tend to launch right after the upload access period's over with. Beyond that, the developer has made allusions to the fact that this game isn't coming after the fall. Like it's called After the Fall, but they pretty much said it ain't coming after the fall, which means it's coming during the fall, which is a pretty limited window, right? It means it's coming out within the next 7, 8 weeks or so.
Yep. Yeah, we're
So
running out of fall, Wes.
yeah, absolutely. So, um, my most highly anticipated unreleased game at this point after the fall. And we're not going to have much longer to wait. Uh, I'm glad. Well, as much as I hate to have any doubt in my mind about it, I am kind of glad that they're coming out and trying to manage expectations with it because you know how it goes. It could be a great game if people's expectations are out of control. It could end up getting negative reviews unfairly, and it's good to see them kind of try to pump the brakes on everybody here a little bit. And these guys know what they're doing. They've been in the game from since day one and very actively participating as publishers as well as developers. So they know what they're doing. I'm going to choose to trust them. I'm sure this game is going to have a high price tag when it launches. Hopefully, we'll at least get one review copy of it, so I don't have to buy it on every platform.
That would be
Um,
nice.
well, I mean, I put our name in the hat, so we'll see how that goes.
Cool. Well, I guess we don't have much longer. 7, 8 weeks max.
Yep.
Theoretically, probably sooner than that. So
Yeah, I would. It wouldn't shock me if it came out this week. It wouldn't shock me.
yeah, I wouldn't either. The way things drop in VR, and like you said, the fact that Upload's got access to it right now, and most developers don't like to give that out unless they're ready to release the game. So
Derail says killer mullet 9 out of 10. I disagree. I don't think there's any such thing as a killer mullet. If you have a mullet, you need to go to the barber and tell him you're tired of looking like an asshole.
and this is
I'm just
coming
kidding.
from Kentucky.
I'm just kidding. That's a quote from a song, actually, a
Oh,
Wesley Willis song. It's a Wesley Willis song called "Cut the Mullet," and that's one of the lyrics. Go to
who
the
doesn't love
barber and
mullets?
tell him you're tired of looking like an asshole.
Mm.
Anyway, let's move on to our second featured story. This one from VR Focus. This is a game we've talked about before. I don't know if you remember. Developer Pumpkin VR about to host a week-long demo event on Steam for its upcoming VR title, Quantaar. Quantaar is a hero brawler that is inspired by games like Super Smash Bros. And League of Legends, which supports single player, online multiplayer, and co op gameplay with Brawl 2 versus 2 and a 4-player party mode. Let's take a quick look at their teaser trailer for this Steam demo event.
This is your chance, let me see you break the limits. This is my world, I'ma bring till I finish this. Wanna battle, step up, let me see if you're limitless.
So there you have it. This is it's a fighting game for VR, and I'd like to sit here and say that we've never seen anything like this in VR before, Roots. But in fact, we actually have. Insomniac made a fighting game in the early days of Oculus Rift called what was it called? Primal something. I don't even remember what it's called. Uh, but this a bit different, and I don't know if you remember back to when we covered this game before, and I'm completely going off of memory here, but it seems to me like I remember when we covered this the first time that there's going to be a multiplayer hub in this game too, and it's kind of put together like a sports bar where you can spectate other people's matches, and what I really think is cool about this game, Roots, is the point of view that you have some options here with how you play it. You can get up close and personal with these battles, but you don't have to. You can also kind of look down into the arena like Demeo style and play as well,
Mm.
uh, which is cool. I think that the social aspect of a game like this is going to be huge. So the fact that you get to play and spectate in this kind of like relaxed social environment, I think is going to be half of the hook of a game like this.
Yeah, yeah, it looks amazing. Wolveraza said he showed it to his kid, and his kid's a huge Super Smash Brothers fan. Said it looks cool, but it doesn't look as cool as even close to Smash Brothers. Well, first off, we have no idea because we don't know what the abilities of these things are. We have the love for Bowser and all the different characters. So of course, you're gonna love that more than you would love this. This could be amazing. But what I see with this, Wes, one is we're going to be seeing Smash Brothers in VR in the near future whenever Nintendo gets into it. This is proof positive. And two, this is proof positive that you don't need to be first person, bro. You don't even need to have hand presence. You can use a controller just like you're going to end up using here to do all your favorite moves and play the game and have an amazing fun time with your friends in a top down situation where you feel like you're in the environment, you're seeing all this stuff in a cool way, and it's as close or as far away as you want. But what I also see, which is the coolest thing for me, is potentially League of Legends in VR. That game is so fucking amazing. I can only imagine how cool it would be in VR. And this is just proof to me that all of these games that we love that aren't first person are not only possible in VR, but they're going to come. Even with people kicking and screaming at the top of their lungs, VR is first person, bro. You have to have hand presence. No, you don't. This is what I hear when I hear people say that, Wes.
Blah, 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 blah.
That's what I hear. Blah, blah, blah.
For real. For real. EV Man versus Gas says, and this is 3D versus 2D. Exactly. Exactly. And that's what makes it so cool is to see these little guys, going at it in front of you. It's one of those things we often talk about that gets the kind of cool factor of VR across more quickly is when you start playing with scale. And, being a giant in this world where these little guys are fighting in this little arena is a cool aspect to me. And then you have the social stuff on top of that, which kind of makes it next level. Space Dentist enjoying the chat says, "Give me this in Metroid Prime. Give me this in Pikmin VR." So he's just kind of echoing what you're saying here with regards to these type of games. Like it doesn't always have to be first person simulation type stuff. Sometimes just being in the game world is enough, especially when it comes to these type of classic proven genres. bringing them into VR with a gamepad in your hand, absolutely viable for most people.
This is where the disconnect is, Wes, with a lot of people. They'll say hand presence, first person, then they'll go into a rave about how they are able to play Super Smash Brothers and Vorpax in 3D. You know what I mean? Not first person, not with a hand presence, but because they did it with a program that wasn't supposed to do it, it's magical. Now the game is released in an actual form that way, and it's like no hand presence, or it's a mod or whatever. It's so weird, man. It's double-minded.
Well, these people don't use logic. These same people will criticize an amazing game like Boneworks for being a tech demo, but at the same time will praise Blade and Sorcery for being this awesome game.
Yeah.
When it's literally a tech demo.
Mm.
So yeah, we all know who we're talking about. We're talking about you. You know who you are.
Yes.
Anyway, the Quantaar demo will offer up 2 maps and 4 heroes, each with their own particular fighting skills. The final version is going to bump the character roster up to 12. So this is just the demo. The demo, 2 maps, 4 heroes. Players can engage in battles from 2 points of view, as an observer overlooking, as we just said, or by partnering up with the hero to knock opponents off the arena or bomb them into the air. Quantaar will feature, quote, a deep progression and rune system, as well as cosmetic upgrades to customize and enhance your characters. Quantaar's free week-long Steam VR demo begins Friday, so the day after Facebook Connect, October 29th, supporting Oculus Rift, HTC Vive, Valve Index, and WMR. Pumpkin VR has slated an early 2022 release for the project, with Oculus Quest support also in the works.
Oh, it's exciting. Looks cool.
Absolutely.
Après le crash du 737 Bonjour Paris! Vous êtes sur MTL, la radio qui vous réveille chaque matin. J'espère que vous allez bien, mes chers franciliens, car cette journée s'annonce rayonnante. C'est quoi ça? Incontrôlable! Un paquet menaçant. C'était là-bas. Sorti ici, là. Place de la Bastille.
All right, so there we have it. That was Project Terminus VR. Episodic survival horror game Project Terminus has been available on Steam Early Access since March and on SideQuest for nearly 2 years. By the way, this article again coming to us from VR Focus. This week it will finally make the first official appearance on the Oculus store for both Quest and Oculus Rift. Set in Paris, France, Project Terminus VR takes players on a terrifying journey through the city, both above and below ground, as they try to avoid the assimilated. Swarms of nanites have been attacking cities, turning the population into a combination of biological and robotic matter that's now devoid of their previous personality. With no idea where these nanites came from and the military locking down the city, players have to survive using whatever resources that they can find. Supporting single player as well as online cross platform co op multiplayer for up to 4 people, developer CVR has built Project Terminus VR around typically difficult survival mechanics and realistic VR interactions to immerse players in the experience. The launch of Project Terminus VR for Oculus Quest and Rift is going to be Act 1 of a multi-part story-driven campaign that should supply players with several hours of gameplay. Additionally, an arcade mode will provide mini campaigns and wave-based action on 3 exclusive maps. Project Terminus VR also has its own map editor, so players can create, share, and play their own custom maps. Project Terminus VR set to launch on Oculus Quest and Rift on the 28th of October, fully cross-buy, crossplay compatible with Steam VR. Roots awesomeness.
Yeah, yeah. Horror, multiplayer, or is it co-op or multiplayer? Is it 2 players, or did it say it was more than 2? I didn't
You
hear.
know who else is a multiplayer horror?
My
Oh,
mom!
horror. I think you said horror. Yeah, either way,
Oh,
right?
horror. Horror. You said horror.
Yeah, the game that doesn't have feet presence is complete trash. Scion says. I don't know that many games that do actually have that. But
Ashy Watch.
Ashi Wash. Yeah, it's got a lot of foot stuff in there. Yesery Bob says, whoever said VR needs to be a first person with hand presence. He hasn't heard anybody say that since 2016. We hear it all the time.
Discord.
Yeah,
Invitation in the description below. Discord. Virtual
Yeah.
Strangers Discord.
Yeah, it's a good point because literally we see it almost daily in our community, and that's why I bring it up. But it definitely does not need to be absolutely, and it could be partial, it could be both. But getting back to this amazing horror game, I think it looks really cool, and the fact that you're getting to go that it's like multi up and below the city, right? Like you're going in the sewers or something. I don't know. Definitely looks really cool, and it's coming out right before Halloween, right?
Yeah, thank God this is a co-op game because this don't look easy, man. Like this is that they're going for realism here and survival horror with an emphasis on the survival as well as the horror. We hear that survival horror thrown around a lot, but those games typically aren't. You're really hanging on by a thread, which kind of seems like what they're going for here. Like you're barely making it, and really carefully, you know, scavenging for supplies. Um, I see elements here of Scion's Baby actually is Into the Radius, although it's a different type of game than that. It's a little less action oriented and a little more story focused. But there's certainly elements of that going on here. Um, this looks cool, man. This looks like right down my alley, and I'm so happy that this is uh, not only a co-op game, but dude, this is cross-platform. Like Oculus players can play with Steam players, which is atypical for a game like this. I mean, this was initially a side quest game, right? This isn't the type of production that you normally see that spans platforms the way this one does. Super impressive on paper. Again, though, I haven't played it since its very earliest days, So time will tell how good it actually is.
Yeah. Oh, short time for us. We're gonna be checking out early access soon. That's for
Yeah.
everybody else. It comes out what, October 28th. So that's 3 days before Halloween. You may have just found your Halloween game to stream. People out there, as well as us. So
Danny Skelling joining the chat says, "What's up, boys? Happy to be able to catch a live stream, even if it probably ends soon. Yeah, we're getting there, but you still got some meat left on the bone here.
yeah,
I was glad to get on a little earlier than we have been lately because I thought maybe people like Danny might pop in if we could. It's hard to find that sweet spot where we can catch people in California and catch people in the United Kingdom as well.
we may have
And
just
I
found
feel
it.
like, yeah, I think the late afternoon is kind of for me, the late afternoon is kind of the time where everyone can attend for at least for a little while.
And it's kind of important for me, at least to me, not for me, that Wes gets a little rest in between his marathon prep for the show, getting off of work, getting no sleep, trying to juggle his family, do everything that for them as well. It's kind of nice to go somewhere in the middle where you at least have a couple hours. When we used to go in the morning, you didn't get any sleep. It was up all night, going straight into the show.
Yeah.
Nah, not cool.
Yeah, that would go back and watch those shows. The Zombie Host.
Zombie
for that
Wes.
one. Yeah. So yeah, I'm glad to get at least a little bit of rest in between the prep and execution.
Traveling Man wants to know, is it a full game with sequels or like Vader Immortal and tiny half-hour sections? I don't know how long it is. I didn't notice that it said Act 1. So it's clearly is going to be in parts. I guess that'll be something we can find out more from the devs if it's something they plan on having DLC, or maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know for sure. I do know it's episodic. I don't think it's like super short. I don't think it's anything like Vader Immortal or anything like that. I do think there's hours of gameplay here, so I wouldn't be too worried about the length of the game. I think that there's going to be enough game here, enough here to. I mean, unless they come out and price it crazy, I don't know what the price of this thing's going to be, but I don't think it's going to be that expensive.
You know who is concerned about the length, Wes?
My mom!
Very concerned.
Indeed. No, but man, I'm looking forward to checking this out. I'm glad the developers joined us in chat and are going to provide us with early access to it. I was going to write the email. Like I've got 2 or 3 I need to write, and luckily now I don't have to do that one. So big shout out to them and a big thank you. This one coming to a Wednesday show near you very, very soon.
Yep.
As soon as they'll let us talk about it. I mean, could be as early as next Wednesday. So
Absolutely.
Anyway, more on this in the very near future, and I guess we'll leave it at that and move on to our fourth and final game, our fourth and final featured story. Rather, this one coming to us from VR Scout, Transformers Beyond Reality. During day 2 of the Hasbro Pulse Convention, a 2-day virtual event showcasing exclusive Hasbro products and events, the company announced its first ever at-home VR game, Transformers Beyond Reality, for PSVR, as well as Steam VR headsets. In Transformers Beyond Reality, you'll join the legendary Autobots as they battle their longtime enemies, the Decepticons, in an effort to save Earth, as well as Cybertron. Ruuts, roll the footage.
For you, we have our first ever at-home virtual reality game. It's from Metaphor Interactive. It's called Transformers Beyond Reality. And from the comfort of your home, you get to join the Autobots and use incredible Cybertronium-based tech in the fight to defeat the Decepticons and save both Earth and planet Cybertron. As the Decepticons have discovered a synthetic dark energon, and they're using its corrupting power to take over Cybertron and strip Earth of its resources. So take a look.
So there we have it. Transformers VR dropping from out of nowhere. While playing this arcade-style first-person shooter, players can take on the role of an Autobot and stand side by side with iconic characters such as Optimus Prime and Bumblebee. Using the power of Cybertronian-based technology, players will battle Megatron and his mechanical minions. According to Hasbro, Transformers Beyond Realities will be ready for launch on Steam VR and PlayStation VR just in time for the holidays. So, um, big franchise here, Roots. Transformers. I mean, uh, arguably, Transformers bigger today than it was even when we were kids. There's a whole new generation of fans for this. But interestingly, this looks more like the Transformers from when we were kids
Hmm.
than the modern day movies. What do you think about this?
Well, I mean, I guess Space Dennis in the chat says it looks goofy. And it could be. It could be goofy, it could be cool, it could be very nostalgic. You know, it could be that they're going for a nostalgic feel, like for nostalgia for people that you know, most of the people in VR that would really geek out about this, like Gamer Tag or Wolveraz or anybody that loves um, you know, Transformers, they might really enjoy it. I think it kind of looks like a rail shooter. Maybe it could be an experience. I don't know if it would be better to have this or, you know, the whole idea in my mind, whenever I thought of VR, would be like the movies and how cool it would be to watch like a car turn into a robot right before your eyes, right? And I don't know if that's going to necessarily be happening in this cartoony looking type of world, but you know, there's a lot of questions. I have a lot more questions after watching it than before. If you said Transformers and I went, "Oh, dude, I know exactly what this is going to be like." Well, now I don't know what the fuck it is. I have no idea. It could be good. So,
Yeah, I think it could go either way. Like, obviously, it's good looking. Like the visuals are seem to be quite polished, as to be expected from a big company like Hasbro. But uh, it seems like maybe this was something that has probably been in development for a long time. This seems like it could be an early VR game when you look at the gameplay style, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. Like, uh, it, just from the little bit of footage we got here, it looks like this is going to be something akin to Archangel, which is a mech based, first person rail shooter. Um, and I love Archangel. It's a fun game. So if it's like that, it'll be cool. It really, it's not something that you're going to be able to tell until you play it whether or not it's fun. It could as easily as it could be Archangel. It could also turn out to be Wolfenstein Cyberpilot, which was kind of the height of mediocrity. So I don't know. I think it's cool that we have another one of these big franchises in VR, but fingers crossed it doesn't go the way of like what was the other one, Voltron VR, or like the Ghostbusters experiences were
oh god.
garbage. Like, hopefully it won't be something like that. So hopefully this will be something a bit more cool. This is a full game, so there is that. Um, and I was watching Rendered Reality earlier to our friends over there, and they were like criticizing it for being third person. It seemed like, and I didn't catch everything they said on it, but I do remember them like being critical of it, like it was third person. This ain't third person. This is first person. Like this stuff you're seeing on the screen here. This is stuff that's happening in front of you. Like that. That's not you doing that.
Right. That's what
That,
they said,
that's
right? In
very
the description is that it was you're going along on an adventure with all these people or these other
right.
bots, right?
Right. I expected to play like an arcade rail shooter. Like you go in the arcade, you sit down inside the booth, and the game kind of plays out in front of you, and you kind of contribute to the larger scene, right?
That's
Uh,
true.
I don't ex- I don't expect super deep mechanics, but we've said it before. It kind of takes. It's kind of hard to mess up a shooter, right? Like it wouldn't take much for this to be a lot of fun, especially for those of us from our generation who also have this heavy nostalgia factor going on. So I don't know, man. It could be really fun. It could be garbage. We're not going to have to wait long to find out, as this game just right around the corner.
Yeah, yeah, this could be early footage too. So who knows? But we'll see, and hopefully it's good. And if it's not, then we'll chalk it up to one more game, not VR game, but game that was made after a movie franchise that wasn't good. How many games did we grow up with, Wes, that you bought it and you took it home and you're like, man, I'm gonna play ET, and you're like, the gameplay. I mean, at least now when I look back, I'm like, what is this garbage? Crazy.
Will Raza says maybe this is like Vader Immortal with Transformers. I mean, if it's that, it'll be cool. Like, I like Vader Immortal. And who knows, they might even have like a dojo.
Yeah, that's true. You could have a Transformer dojo, and you did say it's a full game.
Dojo.
So, I mean, hopefully it'll be priced right. It'll be amazing, and it'll blow our socks off, literally.
Right, exactly. So yeah, and that is that. Transformers Beyond Reality coming right around Christmas time. So stay tuned for that. Keep your eyes open if you're a fan of the old franchise, not the new stuff. This don't look like new Transformers, and this don't look like a new VR game. So this is going to be very much a novelty, a gimmick. Let's just hope it has some fun gameplay to go with it.
That's not Mark Wahlberg. I didn't see in there for sure.
No, for sure not. Anyway, that's going to bring us to this week's reminders. And as usual, we have stuff out this week. I have a lot of stuff out this week, actually, a lot of good stuff. Starting with ARK-ADE from Castello Incorporated. This game comes out on October 26th, the day after tomorrow. This game releasing on Steam VR as well as Oculus App Lab. Roots, I played ARK-ADE. I played this game. I played a demo for it during the summer Steam Next Fest, or maybe it was the spring one. It was the two Next Fest ago. I played a demo for this, and I really thought it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. It was one of my favorite demos that I played during that thing. I had more fun playing this than I had playing Sweet Surrender at the time.
Ooh.
So, and we know how good that turned out. So, I'm actually quite interested in what this game has come to be over the last few months, and I'm glad to see it finally getting its release this week. Why don't we take a quick look at the trailer so you guys can see what I'm talking about? There you have it. ARK-ADE out in 2 days. This one, and if you're like me and you like these old these games that make you feel like you're getting sucked inside of an arcade cabinet, you're going to dig this. There's tons of retro vibe going on here with the sound effects and visuals. And Roots, it's one of these games that I think is going to be identical on Oculus Quest to what it is on Steam VR because of a very smart choice of art style here. Something that looks awesome but isn't like super heavily resource intensive.
Yeah, it looks super cool, man. Like I was saying while we were watching it, to me, it looks like you literally got sucked into a video game. How immersive! Like just the everything about it looks super cool. I can't wait to try this game when it comes out, and I can't imagine it not being amazing.
Yeah, it was fun months ago. Like the demo was fun and not easy, man. There's a lot of enemies in this game. There's a lot of enemies in this game. But like we said a moment ago, shooting in VR, man, it's easy to get right. It's kind of hard to fuck it up, and these guys doing a pretty good job with that, and then tons of retro nostalgia to get you through. Um, I mean, it's very linear shooter based gameplay, but it's fun, man. It's just fun. So yeah, I look forward to seeing how it turned out as well.
You know what else is fun, Wes? PlayStation VR, as highlighted by Dark Angel's comment saying she was so lost in PS4 land. I'm assuming it was VR. It could have been flat as well. And making dinner, she forgot it was Sunday showtime. Man, it was a little bit off time, weird, different time than normal. But Dark, you're right on time. We're glad you made it. Your brother slid in a few hours ago. No, actually, like I think he was a little late too, but he was here before you. So I'm gonna say your brother won today, and maybe you can win next time.
What's up, Toxic FPV? You sliding in here at the end of the show as well. What's up? Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, man. This, I mean, I don't know what to do, Roots. I mean, there's so many freaking games coming out right now. Wolveraza asked, what platform is this on? This is on Steam VR as well as um, App Lab. So PC and Quest for this one.
Isn't that weird that it's coming to Steam VR, not Oculus uh store? You know what I mean? It's not coming to the PC, unless only on Steam only. It makes no sense. It looks amazing to me.
Yeah, I'm sure it would have come out on Rift if they would have allowed it on Quest, but
Yeah,
they're not. So
that would be
F 'em.
weird too. Yesery Bob says, downloading the demo now. Love the Tron vibes. I definitely love the Tron vibes as well. And to me, it literally looks like you are Flynn. You got sucked into that arcade game, and now I mean, it's a different version of Tron, but now you're in a shooter Tron. Super cool.
Mepper says, in my world, Wes is still talking about Demeo. Well, maybe you need to.
I know what he's talking
real
about.
quick-
I've joined live streams like 2 hours in, and then so you rewind it to the beginning, and you're starting to watch, and then so the chat is still caught up live. So you might comment on something at a weird time, and people are like, "Dude, that was an hour ago." Not for Mepper, man. He's in the past.
Well, at least he's aware because, like, sometimes you'll watch these streams and people will be commenting on shit that happened an hour ago and they don't know. You know what I mean?
Very true. Very true.
Paradise Decay, nonstop with him, man. You know who else likes to be sucked into a Tron world?
My mom!
Oh yeah, she likes to be doing the sucking though. I heard, but I'm not gonna even go there. So we'll leave it there.
Speaking of which, on that same very day the arcade comes out, we're also getting another game, Roots. Lust for Darkness VR. This comes to us from Iron VR. Again, October 26th. Steam VR only, Roots. Interestingly, they market this game as too much for Oculus, like denied by Oculus because of the crazy, insane, vulgar shit going on in this game. This is a horror game and a horror game, Roots, like both at the same time.
Oh, that's crazy, man. Well, I'll tell you what, this is that's a good endorsement, right? It's just too much for Oculus, man.
Yeah, this game looks like a trip. It looks whacked out. This looks like something like we've never seen in VR before. And it looks like it's actually decent quality, Roots. Guess what though? I'm not going to have to guess. We've got review access coming for this
Ooh.
one, so we're actually going to. I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to stream this because I don't expect it to be very child friendly.
Ooh.
Which neither was Here They Lie.
That's true.
I put an age wall on that one. Like you can't just click into that. You have to be an adult and registered on YouTube. So if I do stream this one, you guys are going to want to sign in. Otherwise, you won't be able to watch it.
This would be a great late night stream. No kids up at 2 a.m., right?
For sure, late night, for sure. But no, actually, these developers are friends of friends of friends, and Eric coming through with the review copy on this one. So
Awesome. Eric's awesome.
yeah, I look forward to it. I mean, I think this looks cool. Like I always like horror games, and I like ones that have an interesting twist. And This one certainly has an interesting twist. Let's just hope there's not like genital mutilation and stuff in it, like, or at least if there is, hopefully it's implied and not like graphically
Yeah, we don't need to see
shown.
that.
You know what I mean?
I don't need to see that in VR or flat.
Yeah, for real. Like if I want to see that, I'm sure there's a place out there to go find it. But no, thank you. Keep it out of my game. EV Man versus Gas says I'll watch if you stream it. Well, I think a few people will. That's why I'm actually still considering doing it. Like normally, I think this would probably be a little too much, but who knows? Maybe we'll do it. Anyway, let's check out the trailer for this one, Roots. Let's let these people see what we're talking about.
What is this place? A date? What fucking date?
Ask of the omniscience. It shows the secret path.
So, Roots, it says it will shock and scare you. That's what I want. I want to be shocked. I want to be scared. That's why I'm playing this one. I have high hopes for it. Looks decent.
Shock and awe. Well, we'll see. Hopefully, we don't shock and awe too many people if you stream it. But at the same time, we've had some weird stuff out there. So I say I'm sure it can't. It's probably more marketing than anything, but we'll see, man. I mean, maybe we'll see some weird stuff in there, bro. And I mean, that's what you want. You want something really bizarre. And that guy in the mask there, that's pretty bizarre.
Absolutely. So, yeah, we'll have this one within days. Maybe we'll even have it by Tuesday. Who knows? Guys, stay tuned. Hit the bell on the button if you haven't already.
Yep.
Anyway, not the only horror game coming out this week. Obviously, one of the best releases of the year, Wraith, the Oblivion Afterlife from Fast Travel Games on October 27th. This game finally getting its long-awaited PlayStation VR release. This is one of the best games of the year, not only one of the best horror games of the year. So happy for that crew over in PSVR world getting a solid title like this just in time for Halloween. Makes me want to go back and play it again.
Yeah, especially see how good it looks on the PlayStation 5, right? Rave about it again. Yeah, I'm excited for the PlayStation people for sure. They're definitely in for a treat.
Yeah, $30. Nice long campaign with lots of stealth sequences in it and a heavily story driven, spooky environment with loads of exploration. Yeah, highly recommend this. You guys get it the day it comes out. It's awesome.
Absolutely.
Give it time too, by the way. It's a little slow at first, but when it takes off, it really takes off.
Slow burn. And if my microphone sounds louder, it is because it was turned down a little bit. That's weird. I didn't hear it.
Anyway, Fast Travel Games, October 27th. So the day after these other two games, this one comes out.
Yep.
That is on, let's see, 26th would be Tuesday. So this one comes out on Wednesday.
It's going to be an insane week from what Dark Angel says, and I agree.
Yeah, because, I mean, we have Arcade and Lust for Darkness on Tuesday. We have Wraith, Oblivion, Afterlife on Wednesday. Thursday is Oculus Connect. Facebook Connect, as a lot of people like to call it. And on Thursday, we get Project Terminus from CVR, October 28th on Quest and Rift. It's already on Steam. I mean, we just talked about it, right? This looks awesome.
Yeah, you guys are going to be playing this up just like we are soon.
Yeah, during the Oculus event, we're going to be all reeling from the footage of Splinter Cell VR and Assassin's Creed VR and whatever else that they reveal. I do think there will be a new game reveal. I don't know what it is. I know Ruth Bram on Twitter was hyping up the event. She's kind of in charge of content, so
Ooh.
I would imagine that there's something big coming on Thursday.
Dark Angel
We-
says, "Isn't there some sort of announcement coming from PlayStation the day before Oculus? And we might hear something from Index the day or two. Remember last time, right before Quest 2, Index swooped in and kind of stole their thunder, right?
There's a state of play is all it is. It's a state of play about 20 minutes long, focusing on third party titles on both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Now they might, who knows, they might sneak a jab in there somewhere. There could be a VR game announced on that. We don't know. But yes, there is a state of play scheduled for Wednesday.
Yeah. And Zaylin Maru, as well as Onakazi, says, "Meanwhile, I haven't even started Lone Echo 2. Wow, you need to get on.
I
on it.
barely played that one. I barely played that one. Like I'm hooked on RE4 right now.
Scratch the surface.
Again, yeah, more on that one Wednesday. Um, all right, so we've got Arcade and Lust for Darkness on Tuesday. We've got Wraith, Oblivion, Afterlife on Wednesday. Thursday, we've got Project Terminus. But then there's Halloween. Halloween is on Sunday, so a week from today is Halloween. Do we have anything specifically on Halloween? Well, leave it to PlayStation VR to grace us with a brand new PSVR exclusive horror game. Do Not Open. This game, a product of the what is the name of that? That it's that same group that brought us Immortal Legacy. That PlayStation, it's an indie dev showcase, and they find these games and they fund them and release them as exclusives. This one we've known about for quite some time, well over a year. I've been looking forward to playing this game. This looks cool. Again, coming out on Halloween exclusively on PlayStation VR. Roots, roll the footage.
De pequeño me aterraba algo más que la oscuridad. El silencio. Recuerdo a mis padres decir que no había fantasmas en la casa, que todo estaba en mi cabeza. Sin embargo, en el más absoluto silencio yo oía esas voces, hablándome a través de las paredes. Con el tiempo dejé de escucharlas. Sabía que no querían hacerme daño, porque en el fondo tan solo decían lo que yo les iba a hacer a los demás. Ya no soy un niño. Ahora vuelvo a escucharlas. Y podéis creerme cuando os digo que lo que ocurre en esta casa va más allá de mi cabeza.
PlayStation Talents, that's what it's called. This comes to us from PlayStation Talents. And you know, Dark Angel asks if it's Portuguese or Spanish. It's Spanish. This developer, Madrid,
Hmm.
from Madrid, Spain. So that's Spanish. Roots, we have a game that kind of plays out like an Escape the Room, only it's a little different than any other Escape the Room because uh, every time you return to the game, it's different. The puzzles change, the house changes. It's a different run. Whether you die, whether you make it out and complete it, every time you play is supposed to be a different run with different things to do to escape. So while you know it's not going to be the longest run time in the world, each run, infinite, you know, infinite possibilities with returning to the game and subsequent playthroughs. And as is the case with a lot of Sony exclusives, it appears to be top-notch quality in terms of production. I've really been looking forward to this for quite some time, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it.
Yeah, it looks good, right? What's crazy is, well, first off, I wanted to say for Onakazi, roll that bean beautiful bean footage. Because he says every time he keeps expecting you to say that, so I'll say it for you.
Right.
And then my second thing is directed to Anthony. There you go. There's your reason for having a PlayStation VR right now with PlayStation 5. Because that looks amazing. Just the house in general, as I'm looking around and just the scope of it, right? It looks very elaborate, spiraling staircases, places to go around, look, trying to get out of this house while things are crazy going on around you. Looks cool.
Yeah, haunted house, spirits attacking you in this place.
Mm,
Apparently, judging by the context of this trailer, um, you know, he was haunted as a child. They went away. Now he's
mm.
an adult. They're back, and they're worse now. So, um,
You know what the craziest thing that I saw as I was watching this, because I remember when I was a kid, there was this movie that kind of stuck with me. It was a horror movie. It was about these ghosts, and they, they physically assaulted people, and like they raped this woman in her bed, and like really crazy, messed up stuff, right? Stuff that I would never watch today. And what always stuck with me is near the end, I'm thinking, oh, well, this is just a movie. And then as the credits roll, it says based on a true story. And I thought, oh, fuck, and that's what I did with this too, man. It's crazy. All this stuff going on. This is based on real events, right? So that's going to be kind of intriguing to know that in the back of your mind, that what's really real and what's not as far as in real life. I don't know. That to me is kind of intriguing. So that's kind of cool.
yeah, I find it intriguing as well. But what I find the most intriguing about this is that it's another PSVR exclusive horror game, which have historically been the best horror games. The best horror games have come out on PlayStation, and here's another one that could end up being better than a lot of people expect it to be. Coming from a small indie team, even though this is coming from a small indie team, this is published by Sony. This is Sony dollars that went into this, and it's been in development for a long time. Um, I fully expect a nice, polished, uh, complete game here with no jank and plenty of scares and plenty of replayability. Again, out on Halloween, I can't wait.
Yeah, what a perfect day, right? Dark Angel says, "Forgive me for being an excited noob kid about getting back to PlayStation Land. She noticed something for being able to play your PS5 through the PS4. I'm kind of like, why would you want to do that though? I don't understand exactly what.
We use that feature sometimes. It's a streaming feature. You can stream your PS5 game to your
Oh,
PS4. And what we use it for is like my PS5 is in my bedroom. Like it's in my bedroom, and like people don't just come into my bedroom and play VR or play video games. But my kids sometimes want to play Bug Snacks on PS5 or some other PS5 game that they otherwise wouldn't be able to play on PS4. Well, what they can do is they can stream it to the Pro, which is in the next room, play on the living room television, even though the console's in my room. So it's kind of that, or I mean, I guess in theory, you could have your PS4 in another house, even like up the road somewhere, and stream it through the internet. It's just a way to play your PS5 when you're away from your PS5.
can you use them both together that way or no? Like,
what do you mean?
well, because like this is how and I don't know exactly how it works, but I bought It Takes Two on the PlayStation 5, right, for my kids to play, and they actually played it, and so far they've been having a really good time, right? But say you wanted to play, because I'm imagining and that it could be, I could be wrong, but if I played the PlayStation 5 version, I don't know if I could play with a PlayStation 4 person, but you can, because the guest plays for free. So I don't know. I guess because it's emulated PlayStation 5, maybe you could play the stuff together that you normally wouldn't be able to. I don't know.
It's not really emulated. It's just streamed. Like
I
the
got you.
PlayStation 4 is just catching a signal, like a video signal.
Okay.
It's basically like having a gigantic HDMI cable that goes to the other room. It's just picking it up through the internet.
Oh, nice. Well, that's pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah, it's a nice feature. I mean, it's not perfect. Like the picture quality is nowhere near what it would be if you were playing natively on a PS5. and there's lag. Like I have decent internet, and it still lags in the next room. So it's playable. It's not ideal, but if you have somebody in the next room who wants to play your PS5 and you don't want to let them in the door, well, there's always that you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that sounds cool. That's a good feature.
Yep, absolutely. All right, that's going to bring us into our next reminder. This is the part of the show where we ask you all to join us to do your part to help support one of these cool developers by wishlisting a game with us right now in real time. Close the pick from this week, Roots. I mean, just game upon game upon game. Well, I would go for Lust for Darkness. I don't want to bring that up into my feed and then have the wrong people see. So we're gonna go with Arcade this week, I think.
Yeah, Arcade looks amazing, dude. I'm definitely gonna do the same. Looks like a game that I don't want to miss. Very nostalgia type, and it looks like the type of game that I want to play. I want to play a game that makes me feel like I got sucked into an arcade game. That's cool.
Yeah, and said I had a few emails to send out. This is one of them. I'd like to check this one out if we can. Regardless, though, there is a free demo on Steam that you can play today if you want to.
So Wolveraza says my boys have two PS5s in their rooms. If I can play PS5 games through my PS4 with lesser graphics, that's what you just said, correct? Yeah.
It is correct. Yes, you can.
Yep. So you could play Returnal on your PlayStation 4 with a little bit lesser graphics. You wouldn't have the haptics though, too, right?
Yeah, that would be a greatly diminished
Experience. Still be good. Still be an amazing game, but it definitely would be a diminished.
Well, not only that, but that's a very fast game to try to play with any kind of latency. Like you'll have difficulty playing Returnal
Oh, well, that's
with
true.
any latency. You
Well,
know
yeah,
what
that's
I mean?
true. Make sure you're close. Eddie C says, did I just start watching when you guys are about to sign off? You just hit the jackpot, Eddie. You're getting the end. You're still part of the experience. We're talking to you, and you get to start over. You get to be fresh. You still have a whole show to go through, bro.
Yeah, he also says Resident Evil 4 VR, yo. For real, bro.
Yeah.
I get you.
That game looks amazing. It is amazing.
Yep. Not all sunshine and rainbows, though. Tune in Wednesday and we'll tell you what's not so awesome about it.
Yeah.
In addition to all the things that are awesome about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that brings us to our final reminder this week and every week, and that is how you can do your part to support us, our channel, and our community. Of course, if you haven't already, the easiest way to do so is by clicking that big red button and that bell. That helps our channel to grow, and it helps you to stay up with all of our increasing content, our increasing frequency of content on this channel. We just keep adding more and more to it, Roots. And it keeps getting better at the same time. So win-win for all of us here, right?
Absolutely. It's getting better and better, and you get time travel. Derail says, that's a good point. You can time travel when you watch the stream. Eddie C's about to do it. He's about to go back in the past a couple hours, and he doesn't even need a flux capacitor.
For real, man. That's awesome. We can all time travel. Go right directly after the stream ends and time travel back to 3 hours ago when we started this thing.
That's right.
Anyway, if you have already subscribed and you want to do a little something extra, you can do so by supporting us on Patreon. $3 per month gives you access to our weekly show notes, which read like a newsletter, have links to news articles, trailers, and more. You also get insider updates. You get exclusive content, less than $1 a week, and it all goes to help build something special here, and or something we intend to be very special here. Yeah, we appreciate all of you who support on Patreon. Thank you.
It's
very
getting
much.
more special every day, Wes, and it's about to get more special in the next week or two, and you don't want to miss that either.
Nope. Next level VR or Virtual Strangers 2.0 incoming. Oh, by the way, friends, while we're on reminders here, we do have active giveaways right now for Hell Road VR as well as Eye of the Temple. If you'd like to enter for a drawing to win either of those games, travel back in time to our Wednesday episode. You'll see it as giveaway right in the title. Make sure you're subscribed. Leave a comment on that video saying you'd like to enter the giveaway or both of them. And we're going to draw this Wednesday a couple of winners.
Yeah, so exciting. I have the temple so good.
Yep.
I mean, they're both good, but I have the temples. I just want to go back in there right now.
Absolutely. Well, why don't you do that? Let's sign off. Before we do so, again, I'd like to remind you that the invitation to the Virtual Strangers Discord down in the description below. This is where we all hang out. It's where we get together for multiplayer games. It's where we talk about life, talk about VR. We're all on there 24/7, and we invite you to join us. Again, link in the description. That's where we'll be immediately following this show. We'll be on there. Reading what everyone has said and finding out what this headset's going to be, Roots.
Oh, yeah.
It's time. It's time to find out.
Yeah, we'll be talking about it, I'm sure, in detail next week.
Yeah, in a couple days, actually.
Yeah.
Anyway, with that said, friends, I'd like to thank you all once again for watching For Roots. I'm Wes. We'll see you Tuesday, friends. Bye now.